He's gone, he's in the rearview mirror now. When you look at the goals scored by the players left behind, is there a case they're better without him?
I think they're different. You were talking about also in Buemo and Vissa. Both scored in two of Brentford's 3 Premier League games this season, and overall they've scored in the same Premier League game 13 times, which is 10 more than any other Brentford duo. And I see, if you analogy, like dance loves his rock music, like Genesis. Peter Gabriel was the lead singer of Genesis. He goes, everybody thinks, oh, know what they're going to do. Little geezer on the drums comes in, Phil Collins. So I wouldn't say Genesis were better, but they were completely different. That's the same with Ivan Toney going and then Buemo coming in and being like the main man. Vissa playing up front. And I didn't know that Buemo was only 25. So I think the way that he plays, obviously he's brilliant with his left foot. He comes in from that right-hand side and he drifts out to the left. I think he could be the next cab on the rank that could get a big move. He's better when Ivan Toney isn't playing, isn't the focal point.
As analogies go, I think that might be the best we'll get today. Thomas Frank likened Toney leaving to Messi leaving Barcelona, but you've left him for dead with that analogy.
I think he's gone a bit too far there, Thomas Frank.
Possibly. They've made a good start to this season though, Brentford. 2 wins from 3, the only defeat coming to Liverpool. What is a realistic expectation for this Bees side?
Well, they were obviously the last team to win here in the Premier League at the Etihad. The last team to win here in all games. Man City have gone 45 unbeaten since then.
Record run.
Yeah, I think from Brentford's point of view, they've tweaked the way that they play. There's not going to be a high press. They're not going to go and try and stop Man City playing out from the back, because again, if you look at their stats, they actually drop back, and I think they've allowed teams over 16 passes in their own defensive action. So you know that Brentford are going to, what they call now is the fashionable thing, Chris, is the low block, basically defending deep in their own half. They're probably going to 5-3-2 shape, keep it nice and tight, nice and narrow. But then they've got to be brave enough when they do get their limited possession, brave enough to commit players forward, like we saw Ipswich did for the first 20 minutes against Man City. And then you hope that the pace of Wissa and Buemo give Man City's back three, which we think will be Walker, Stones and Akanji, a little bit of trouble, because say Man City have been proven that they can leak goals.
Yes, they haven't kept a clean sheet here in 5 home games, Manchester City. Pep Guardiola will want them tight. He'll want them scoring as they have been this season. It's Manchester City against Brentford with Haaland in the team. Take it away, Ian Danta.
Thank you, Chris. Hello and a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. Coming to you live from the Etihad as champions Manchester City welcome, the last team to beat them here in a Premier League encounter. You have to go back to the 12th of November 2022 when a late Ivan Toney penalty sealed a 2-1 win at this ground for Brentford. The Bees actually won at the GTEC in May that season to do the double over their illustrious opponents. That didn't stop the Citizens still winning the title by 5 points that season. And 5 titles in a row is the ultimate aim for Pep Guardiola this time around. And his side have made a near faultless start with 3 straight wins, just 2 goals conceded, and a Player of the Month star striker with successive league hat-tricks. A daunting prospect for the Bees then, as they arrive here on the back of a decent start themselves this season. 2 wins, sandwiching a defeat at Liverpool, and the uncertainty over Ivan Toney's future finally sorted out. Thomas Frank has less noises to worry about than the hosts here appear to have, as he bids to improve on Brentford's 16th placed finish last campaign. Team news for Manchester City: 4 changes. Returns for John Stones and Kyle Walker at the back. Erling Haaland starts after the personal tragedy that affected his family in the week. The 4 changes are Walker, Stones, Savinho and Gundogan in, Diaz, Gvardiol, Bernardo Silva and Doku out. So Ederson in goal, Walker, Stones, Akanji, Lewis, Kovacic, Savinho, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Grealish and then Haaland. And as for Brentford, they make 2 changes from their win against Southampton. Jensen is injured and also Schade is benched. It's a change in formation to go 3-5-2. Sepp van den Berg makes his first start for the Bees after his summer arrival from Liverpool, and Keane Lewis Potter playing at left wing back. Mark Flecken the goalkeeper, then Van den Berg, Collins and Pinnock as a back 3, Ayer and Lewis Potter the wing backs, Damsgaard, Norgard, Janelt in midfield, and Burmo and Visser are the front 2. Darren Bond is our referee. He's just gathering both sets of players around the centre circle because we aren't going to have a moment to remember the late Sven Göran Eriksson, former Manchester City manager, brought to the club by former owner Thaksin Shinawatra, who passed away in the last couple of weeks. You may well have seen the news of his funeral that took place, where David Beckham and other luminaries were there in Sweden to pay their respects. And as you can hear, applause has already started as those here at the Etihad will pay their respects to the former City and England manager here ahead of kick-off.
Not least, for a first league goal for Manchester United 38 years. With a warm, gentle and kind person, I am respected by everyone in the league. Manchester City would like to express our sincere condolences to his family and friends. We would like you to join us in a round of applause in celebration of Sven-Göran Eriksson's life.
Truly charming man, Sven-Göran Eriksson, and our sincere condolences go to his family and loved ones at his passing. So we're ready for the off on Talksport 2. Perry Groves alongside me on commentary. Manchester City in their traditional sky blue shirts with white shorts and darker blue socks. Brentford in their change kit of a forest green, British racing green I would say, with lime green trim and lime green socks, and they're kicking towards the north stand away to our left. Perry and I are about a third of the way up in the Colin Bell stand here at the Etihad, with the north stand to our left. That's the end that Brentford are attacking. From the right hand side, Ayer puts a deep ball to the far post. Lewis Potter heads it down, and Mbeumo and Visser heads it in, and Brentford lead inside 30 seconds. I make it 24 seconds on the clock when Lewis Potter sent the ball across the face of goal. Uncertain goalkeeping from Ederson. It just popped up in the air right in front of goal, and Johan Visser strikes again for Brentford, and once again at the Etihad the unlikely first goal goes the way of the visitors, like it did for Ipswich the other side of the international break. It is Manchester City 0, Brentford 1.
That's what a start for the Bees, just to build up on the right hand side, and Mbeumo to Visser. Visser puts it out to that right hand side, the ball in from Ayer. Lewis Potter coming in for the left back position. He's on the far post, heads it back across goal. There's a mix up between John Stones and Ederson. John Stones thinks Ederson's going to come and get it. Ederson thinks John Stones is going to volley it away. He just sliced it completely, John Stones. Ball goes up in the air. Who's at the far post? Visser just nods it into an empty net to Brentford 1-0 up within 20 seconds. What a start from Brentford.
That's a goal or an assist in 5 of his last 6 Premier League games for Johan Visser. The Congolese striker giving Brentford a shock lead here. And we shouldn't forget that Brentford, as I mentioned in my introduction, did win here the last time that Manchester City lost a home match. Have they got the hex over their opponents once again? What a start for Thomas Frank and his players. But as we saw a couple of weeks ago, Perry, when you and I were here for the Ipswich game, that early goal for Ipswich just poked the hornet's nest, didn't it?
Brentford actually made Man City angrier early in what Ipswich did. But Ipswich, I think Smodic was in 7 minutes, wasn't it, when he scored? But it was a brilliant start from Brentford, to be fair. They had the kick-off, they got the ball forward, just showed a lot of ambition. And we saw with both full-backs getting involved, one crossing, and then when Adzi heading at the far post, Lewis Potter. It's really bad defensive play from John Stones down, so he's like sliced it completely. I think he needs to chalk his boot, because it's a complete slice from him.
You'll be unsurprised to learn that's the first goal anywhere in the 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. I'll keep you in touch with goals as they go in elsewhere. Earlier today, Manchester United cruised to a 3-0 win at Southampton, who went down to 10 men late on, as you just heard on Talksport 2. Burnley won at Leeds in the Championship's big game at lunchtime. Luton won at Millwall by 1-0, and Oxford keeping their good start to the season going by beating Stoke by 1-0. In League 1, Mansfield 2, Cambridge 1, Northampton 1, Wycombe 2, and in League 2, the big ding-dong derby at Plough Lane went the way of AFC Wimbledon, beating MK Dons 3-0. Swindon 4-0 winners over Newport. But 1-0 here to Brentford. Couple of minutes gone, and through steps Damsgaard into the air for Mbeumo. Can Mbeumo get the shot away? Ricochets off Lewis, and Lewis finally gets the ball clear after the ball bobbled around the pair of them. For a moment it looked like it had opened up for Mbeumo at the edge of the 6-yard box to try and make it 2-0 Brentford.
Dance Mbeumo just got to get the ball out of his feet, and he gets a free shot. To be fair to Rico Lewis, he recovers really well just to snuff out the danger. But just looking at Brentford, Dance, and we said, they've got to be brave in possession. When they're in possession, the ball's back with Flecken. You've got Keane Lewis Potter who's playing as the left wing back. He's basically playing as a left wing up, bang on the halfway line where it meets the touchline. And Ayer's doing the same thing on the other side. So Brentford have come here in this opening 2 or 3 minutes, and they've been very, very brave.
Stroking the ball around very nicely, Brentford. On halfway is with Nathan Collins, one of the 3 centre-halves. Janelt, who played at left-back against Southampton, now back in a more familiar midfield role. Out to Ayer, right wing-back, faced up by Lewis, midway point of the Manchester City half. Swansea 1, Norwich 0 in the Championship, and Watford 0, Coventry 1. Early scorelines for you in England's second tier. Ball's back on halfway, and it'll be rolled back to Ethan Pinnock, a real fan favourite amongst Brentford fans at the back. Collins just nicks it in field for the goal scorer Visser, who's got Kovacic at his back nibbling away at him, and then Collins elects to go all the way back to the Dutch goalkeeper Mark Flecken. Just rolls it to his right to find Vandenberg, making his full debut then this afternoon. Sepp Vandenberg, after getting a substitute appearance before today. City win it back, they're a goal down, 5 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Gundogan 10 yards inside the Brentford half of the field, as City are attacking the south end to our right in this first half. Kovacic, midway point of that half. Brentford really low block, back in their own defensive third, all the outfield players, as it goes out to Grealish, left wing, up against Ayer, rolls it back to Akanji, he knocks it infield to Kovacic, bit further forward this time, out to the right hand corner of the area for Savinho, up against Lewis Potter, just plays a right-footed ball in, but it's a comfortable catch in front of goal for Mark Flecken with no sky blue shirts anywhere near him. 1-0 to Brentford on Talksport 2.
Yeah, that's all started because Norgard was in possession. The Brentford captain gave the ball away cheaply to Jack Grealish. Man City had 6 or 7 passes, got the ball out to Savinho on this right-hand side, tried to go on the outside of Lewis Potter, got his right-footed cross in and went straight to Flecken.
Crawley 0, Stockport 1 in League One. Louis Barry again for Stockport against Crawley, who've gone 3 straight losses in League One. City win it back. De Bruyne up towards the edge of the area, held up for a moment by Janelt. In steps Pinnock, deflects away out to the left wing. Grealish on the scene first for the host, gets to the byline, gets the crossing, but it deflected off Damsgaard, and it ricocheted into the path of a Brentford player, and it's cleared upfield by Ayer to Mbeumo, who does beautifully to keep the ball in play on the touchline, feed it back to Ayer, and then an attempted through ball to set Lewis Potter away is intercepted by Kyle Walker. Here's Kovacic in the centre of the Brentford half, breaks for De Bruyne via a ricochet into the area, but he runs into trouble and Collins gets it clear, and Brentford try and bring it away again, and Visser looks for Mbeumo, right hand side. Visser's gone again for the ball back in field. Visser comes out, but so too does Edison to the edge of his area and clear his lines, but straight to Damsgaard. Now Lewis Potter up to the edge of the area, and Visser trying to turn away from Stones, but runs into Akanji. Anywhere will do for Manchester City. They just lump it downfield. 1-0 to Brentford, 7 minutes gone.
Just seen with Brentford again, Dance, when they go in that defensive block and leave one up front. That time it was Mbeumo, switched brilliantly out to the right hand side to Mbeumo and then into Visser. If he took a little bit more care on his pass, Dance, then Visser's in. He just overhits it, overclubs it. To be fair to Edison, it's a brilliant starting position for the Man City goalkeeper. He just sweeps up on the edge of his box. But I have to say, been very impressed with Brentford, the way they're playing.
And here's Lewis Potter down the left-hand side for Brentford, level with the edge of the area, being held up by Walker. Checks onto his right, chips it to the far post. Damsgaard knocks it down. Attempted overhead kick by Mbeumo, doesn't come off, and Gundogan hooks it clear. But then De Bruyne can't hold on to it. Breaks for Janelt, 30 yards out, quite central. Rolls it backwards to square to Ayer. Now back out to Damsgaard on the right-hand side. Norgard gives it back to Damsgaard, now faced up by Lewis, won't put a cross in, rolls it back to Ayer instead. Bit more patient now from Brentford because City have got players back. Ayer darting down the right hand side, tries to get the cross in, deflects off Gundogan. Corner to Brentford at the north stand end. They lead 1-0 here.
Again, Dance is in the wide positions. You could tell that midweek that Thomas Frank has worked with Brentford's side because the 2 wing backs are being pivotal in what Brentford are doing. This time it was Lewis Potter on the left-hand side. I think he could have got his cross in earlier and just whipped it across the 18-yard box, but he decided to come back on his right foot, chipped it to the far post, ball come back to Mbeumo, had his scissor kick, missed it completely, come out to Aya. Aya gets his cross in, blocked for a corner for Brentford over on their right-hand side.
To be taken by Mbeumo on the north-east corner. Going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Mbeumo. Oh, it goes through to the edge of the area. Brilliant save on the line by Edison. Somebody took a swing at a crowd of players, and Edison just blocked it on the line instinctively and kept it out. Could so easily have been two. Headed clear by Walker up to halfway. Haaland, almost his first touch of the game. It's found Grealish out on the left-hand side. De Bruyne up to the left-hand corner of the area, crosses in, intended for Haaland, but at the second attempt, Flecken grabs it. 1-0 to Brentford. Could have been 2-0.
Yeah, could have gone 2-0 up, dancing across from Mbeumo from the right-hand side, his left foot, and against all odds, it came to Collins, probably about 7 yards out, with his right foot, just swings with it, gets it on the half volley. As you said, it's a brilliant save from Edison. He can't see the ball for a crowd of players, just low down to his left axis, he's hit his knees down to come back off. Brentford had easily gone 2-0 up.
I know what your playlist has been this week. You've done Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins in the last 20 minutes.
Just testing you.
You've gone on a prog tip. We played 9.5 minutes on Talksport 2. My producer Sal's just showed me the stats. 72% possession for Brentford in this opening section of the game, and they're trying to break down the right hand side again, but Mbeumo and Damsgaard getting a bit of a mess. Bromley 2-0 up on Notts County in League 2. That's 11th against 2nd. Notts County unbeaten in the league so far, but 2-0 down at Bromley.
Do you want my main stat of the day?
Go on then.
26.6% of Bromley's passes this season have been defined as long passes over 30 yards.
The Charles Hughes coaching manual still gets used.
Basically, have it.
That's what I saw at Charlton last weekend. Charlton and Rotherham are both Abbott teams. In the more rarefied atmosphere of the Premier League, Brentford are passing the ball around at will. Manchester City have a real tough assignment on their hands, it appears, early on. We've played 10 minutes. Manchester City 0, Brentford 1. Haaland receives the ball on halfway. Leaves it for Kovacic, who rolls it right to Kyle Walker, still in his own half. Carlisle 0, Fleetwood 1, and Port Vale 1, Chesterfield 0 in League 2. Here on the right-hand side is Savinho. At the right-hand corner of the penalty area, faced up by Lewis Potter, finds Walker on the underlap, gets to the byline, pulls it back, but Janelt gets a foot in, and Lewis Potter should clear his lines and does, but there's nobody in a Brentford shirt on halfway, so it can be retrieved by John Stones. Stones finds Savinho again on this near side, the Manchester City right, tucks it in field for Mateo Kovacic, and across one more for Manuel Akanji. Akanji has Grealish showing for him out on the left wing on the far side of the field from us, but Akanji's looking infield at the moment, and he in fact rolls it backwards to square to Stones. Stones now drills it along the deck to Savinho on this near side, right hand corner of the area, trying to find De Bruyne, and it's worked back eventually by Norgard to his keeper, and again nobody in Forest Green on halfway for Brentford, so City can retrieve. 1-0 Brentford.
Yeah, when Man City are in good possession, Brentford drop back to that 5-3-2 shape dance, the width for the 18-yard box, but then when they clear it, he said there, they can't get out.
What a ball from De Bruyne to Grealish on the left-hand side, gets to the byline, tries to get the crossing, blocked behind by Christopher Aya for Manchester City's first corner of the game. 12 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Man City 0, Brentford 1.
Yes, Kevin De Bruyne there playing in the Tom Brady role, Dance as the fullback. The quarterback, just getting the ball and just switching it over to the left-hand side to Jack Grealish. Grealish tries to go on the outside of Aya. To be fair to Aya, make sure, times his tackle, gets his block in, corner for Man City over on their left-hand side.
De Bruyne had plenty to say about his Belgian teammates' lack of fight in the international break. And it's his corner, cheek to the far post. It's too much for Gundogan to try and head back across goal. Really was fizzed in at some pace and high and looping from Kevin De Bruyne from that far side, but Gundogan couldn't keep it in play, so it's a goal kick for Brentford. A reminder that Manchester City last lost a Premier League game on December the 6th at Aston Villa, and they won their last 9 of the season on their way to the title by an aggregate score of 33-6. Right now it's 1-0 to Brentford, 13 minutes gone, and the Bees have it again with Johan Visser the goal scorer. Quick ball over halfway, but it caught Lewis Potter, the left wing back, on his heels. Comfortably rolls through to Edison, who didn't know much about that half volley from Nathan Collins, but he knelt down like a cricketer trying to stop a ball going over the boundary to keep it out and keep it at just 1-0.
I think they call it the long barrier dance. That's what it is. So it don't go through your legs. So it came through a lot of legs, actually, to be fair. Nathan Collins half volley.
Grimsby Town 0, Barrow 1. Sam Foley for Barrow, and Notts County get a goal back at Bromley. 2-1 now. Jody Jones has been in excellent form for County since the start of the season. You're listening to Talksport 2, game day exclusive on a Saturday afternoon. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you. Chris Latcham's with us too. Manchester City 0, Brentford 1. Johan Visser in 24 seconds, if you please, giving Brentford the lead. Man City work the ball out to Jack Grealish out on the left-hand side. Io once again tracking him. Grealish gets the ball back to the left-hand corner of the box for Rico Lewis. He lays it off to Akanji, gets his head up. Again, Brentford, everybody behind the ball. Floated out from left to right to find Savinho. Savinho rolls it back to De Bruyne. First time cross, headed out by Pinnock. Straight onto the chest of Kyle Walker. Knocks it down for De Bruyne. Now Savinho again, darting down the right-hand side of the box, hustling to the byline. Leaves it for De Bruyne. First time cross deflected in the air. Lands on the roof of the net. Another corner to City. 1-0 Brentford.
Yeah, switching the ball really well from left to right. Man City from Jack Grealish over to his right-hand side to Savinho. Just trying to play in Kyle Walker. Come back to Savinho. Then tries to get his cross in. Blocked by Lewis Potter. Goes out for a corner for Man City on their right-hand side. To take a left-footed from Savinho with an in-swinger.
Yes, Savinho will take it into the near post. Up goes Flecken, punches clear with 2 fists, and Burmo brings it down just outside his own penalty area. He's brought down by De Bruyne, the assistant on this near side flags, and Brentford get a chance to clear their lines. Thomas Frank has gone to sit down in his technical area. Pep Guardiola, hands in pockets, pacing around like a caged tiger in the edge of his technical area. You're listening to Manchester City 0, Brentford 1 on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget, you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contract on Now, like Aston Villa against Everton, live today. Search Now Sports. Flecken has taken a short goal kick to Pinnock. He gets it back and flicks it out to Collins on this left-hand side, hugging the touchline. Pinnock will go back for the Dutch keeper Flecken again. Takes a touch on his right and again floats it out on his left very neatly to Nathan Collins. Touched infield to Visser, neatly done, and Collins can now try and release Lewis Potter over halfway, but Kyle Walker's quick. We knew that. We've known that for about a decade, and he gets it back to Edison.
Lewis Potter just looked round at Nathan Collins and just say, are you sure? Did you see who I was trying to outrun? It's brilliant play from Brentford, Dance, from the back, from Flecken out to Nathan Collins on this left-hand side, because Brentford are splitting their 3 centre-halves when Flecken's got it, and he just tried to roll Lewis Potter in and say it was Kyle Walker. He probably was only at like 60-70% of his pace that he's got.
Savinho bringing the ball forward down the inside right channel, gets into the area, plays it down the byline for De Bruyne, ball back into the box, and Pinnock just thumps it clear, and it will go behind for another corner. Morecambe have got their first goal of the season, and it's against Colchester. Sorry, Perry. Ben Tollett for the Shrimps. Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0 in the Championship, and Blackburn 1, Bristol City 0 in the Championship. Corner to Manchester City at the south end away to our right. 16.5 minutes gone. Brentford 1-0 in front here on Talksport 2. De Bruyne with a right-footed outswinger to come. Gundogan steaming along the touchline to receive a short corner from him. Back heel for De Bruyne, brilliantly worked, but Flecken came out to block as De Bruyne tried to send the ball back across the face of goal. And it's actually an offside flag against De Bruyne, which gives Brentford a free kick. 1-0 to the Bees.
It was really clever. Corner kick from Man City. Gundogan had his false nose and glasses on. Just run across the byline. Just made a little 2v1 with De Bruyne up against Norgard. Great little back heel from Gundogan. And De Bruyne's just got lazy, Dance, because he's looking right across the line. He shouldn't be getting caught offside, but a very clever corner kick there from Man City.
And here is Ayer, the right wing back for Brentford today. Norgard with a very quick ball out to Damsgaard, right-hand side, and immediately tried to feed it in field from Burmo. It was overhit, but Edison still felt the need to come to the edge of his penalty area and half volley it clear. Drops for Brentford in the centre circle for Johan Visser. You can hear the fans around us getting a bit agitated that Manchester City are not controlling this game.
Do you know what it is? It's Man City fans are looking at Brentford and thinking, how dare you? How dare you come to Etihad, where we're unbeaten in 45 games, and put your wing-backs as their, like, wingers. And to be fair as well, Brentford's midfield players, Damsgaard, Norgard and Janelt, they're very comfortable in possession. They're the ones who are getting under pressure. Visser's coming deep, just joining in.
He's dropping deep again to lay it off to Janelt. And now it's Sepp Vandenberg, who made 4 appearances for Liverpool, none of them in the Premier League. Went out on loan last year abroad, and now he's making his first start for Brentford. Walsall 1, Bradford 0, and the Steve Bruce era at Blackpool's getting off to a leading start. They lead Exeter by 1-0. CJ Hamilton for the Seasiders. Taylor Allen again scoring for Walsall this afternoon against the Bantams. And Carlisle 0, Fleetwood 2. Ronan Coughlin gets the second for the Cod Army. Brentford leading Manchester City by 1-0. But here come the hosts again with Kovacic, centre of the Brentford half. Floats it out to the left-hand corner of the box, where it's brought down very neatly by Grealish. Gives it back to Kovacic in centre midfield. Rolls it out to Kyle Walker, approaching the area right-hand side. Plays the ball along the deck for De Bruyne. Now Haaland on the turn. Of course he scores. Of course he makes it 1-1. Erling Haaland makes it 8 goals at the start of a Premier League season in 4 games, equaling Rooney's record, and he's got over an hour to try and make the record all his own. Lovely sharp turn, and with his weaker right foot, if you can call it that, slammed it past Flecken, and Manchester City are back level, courtesy of the man most likely. It is Manchester City 1, Brentford 1.
What a turn and score from Erling Haaland. Dance, we see with his unfavoured right foot. Kyle Walker gets the ball on the edge of the box on the right hand side, plays it into De Bruyne, just gets tackled by Norgard, and lucky enough it just spins to Erling Haaland, and he just scribbles in one movement, takes a little touch off Ethan Pinnock, gives Flecken absolutely no chance whatsoever. Dance, I think that's probably the 2nd or 3rd time that Erling Haaland has actually touched the ball, and he just jogs around in the 18-yard box, thinks that'll get a chance. Exactly what happened. Sharp as attack, swivels, bangs it with his right foot. Flecken no chance.
But here come Brentford with Visser. He's got Lewis Potter free in the area, and through for a moment came Ayer, but the ball across from Visser didn't have the power he wanted, and Ederson could claim. Swinging from end to end here on Talksport 2, but City are level. We've played 20 minutes. Leicester lead at Crystal Palace 1-0. Jamie Vardy with the opener in that Premier League 3 o'clock game. And Wigan lead at Bristol Rovers in League 1. Joe Hugill. Now here's Grealish left-hand side for Manchester City. Trying to get the better of Ayer, but the former Celtic man wins it off Grealish. Just keeps his foot on the ball, holds off the England man, and it's worked into Christian Norgard, who neatly keeps the ball away from Gundogan. And Brentford, well, they're not out of their own defensive third, but they're playing the ball around quite neatly. Damsgaard turns it around the corner looking for Norgard, and De Bruyne puts it out of play for a throw-in to Brentford. Approaching the midway point of the first half on Talksport 2. Perry Gross alongside me. It's 1-1.
Dance, what a first 21 minutes we've had here. Like, Brentford have come here, they haven't sat back. We thought they was going to be like rope-a-dope and try to hit Man City on the break. They've actually gone toe-to-toe with Man City. And there's a few times Dance in wide areas, and that was another opportunity for Visser, where I think Brentford have picked the wrong pass, because if Visser gets his head up, he can whip it across the 6-yard box, and Lewis Potter's coming in from this left-hand side. So Brentford had 3 or 4 really big opportunities to get another goal, but you know, with Man City, you know they're going to keep prodding away. Rico Lewis starting off in that left-back position, but then coming into midfield.
So let me remind you of the numbers. 98 goals in 103 appearances, 71 in 70 Premier League matches for Haaland, and 253 goals for his club career. And the Player of the Month for August gets September off to the right start. It's 1-1 here as we approach the midway point of the first half. Ball's back with John Stones, midway point of his own half, just to the right of centre. Infield it goes to Kovacic, being tracked by Vitaly Janol. Now it goes out to Akanji, playing on the left-hand side of the back 3. Sunderland lead at Plymouth. Patrick Roberts puts the Championship high flyers ahead at lowly Plymouth midway through the first half there. And a red card for Morecambe, even though they're leading and they got their first goal of the season. They're down to 10 at the Globe Arena. Damsgaard does really well to keep the ball away from Jack Grealish, prevent the corner and get the ball back to his keeper, who cleared just in time as De Bruyne slid in on him on the goal line. Thomas Frank applauds because Brentford have got the ball cleared up to Keane Lewis Potter, just shy of the halfway line. Gets away from the challenge of Haaland, but runs into Gundogan, who wins it back for City. 1-1.
They played it really well, Dan, because there was a high press on for Man City. De Bruyne sliding into Flecken out to Collins, into Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter's got to get the ball out of his feet and just put it into Visser. Thomas Frank, the Brentford manager, was going all right in his little technical area because King Lewis Potter just run into a load of players and Man City ended up getting the ball back.
A reminder that Brentford led inside 30 seconds through Johan Visser. Haaland equalised around the 20-minute mark to bring us to the scoreline we have now. Rico Lewis for City. Rico Lewis now of City and England. Fulham lead West Ham United by a goal to nil. Raul Jimenez breaks the deadlock at Craven Cottage. Kanji for Manchester City. Up to the edge of the area. Gundogan with his back to goal. Plays a 1-2 with Kovacic. Actually, Kovacic gets it again. Finds Savinho, right-hand corner of the area. Faced up by Lewis Potter. Tries to flick it in field for Gundogan, but that allowed Brentford to win the ball back. And Savinho fights hard to win it back down by the corner flag from Lewis Potter. Great industry and tenacious work from the Brazilian. Savinho still has it. On this near side, the City right. Finds Walker. Works it in field for Kovacic. Kovacic has got De Bruyne calling for it at the edge of the area with his back to goal, but instead it's Walker out to the right-hand side, and Savinho again just checks onto his left foot, comes in field just inside the area right-hand side, rolls it back to Akanji, thought about a shot, he plays it out left to Grealish, toying with Brentford now, Manchester City. Akanji again at the edge of the area, rolls it back to Stones, keeps it away from Mbeumo, but then heavy touch from Walker almost started a counter-attack for Brentford, and eventually City hurriedly put the ball out of play. It's currently Manchester City 1, Brentford 1. For the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Manchester City to win at 7-2 on, Brentford to win 10-1. The draw, which is what we have now, is priced at 4-1. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18+, begambleaware.org. Manchester City get a throw after Brentford waste theirs. 1-1 here.
Well, the throwing coach will probably get the sack, dance for that, because Nathan Collins just thrown it to Janelt, and Janelt has had a really heavy touch, put it out of play. Man City's throw now deep in Brentford's half. That's the last thing you want to do when you get possession back, is just give it away cheaply.
And Akanji has it in the centre of the Brentford half for Manchester City. Plays it left for Lewis. Grealish stationed out on that left wing, receives it again. Ayer and Damsgaard watching. He goes back infield to Lewis. Lewis across to De Bruyne, 30 yards out. Rolls his right foot the ball. Goes with his left with a daisy cutter that only just went wide of Flecken's left-hand post as he was going full length, diving to try and keep it out. But it went the other side of the post, and Brentford have a goal kick, 1-1.
Yeah, Brentford sitting deep and deeper. Comes to Rico Lewis in the inside left position. Just rolls it with the sole of his foot. Then pass out to Kevin De Bruyne. Visser comes to close him down, goes inside him, gets a really good strike with his left foot. He whizzes past Flecken's left-hand post. Brentford again trying to play out from the back.
Oh, they're not shy about doing that. Ayer works it back to Vandenberg, who clears it well, and Mbeumo trying to cushion the ball down for Damsgaard. It will break for Janelt. And now it's played up to halfway, and Damsgaard, it's 5-on-3 for a moment for Brentford. Damsgaard carrying the ball up to the edge of the area, out to Ayer, right-hand side. The cross is deflected behind for a corner. What a counter-attack. Brentford should have done more with that. 5-on-3, yes, they've got a corner, but they had one heck of an overload.
Brentford have been brilliant at playing out the back from Flecken this time. Gone out to the right-hand side to Vandenberg and Ayer. Again, they've picked the wrong choice of cross, because Lewis Potter is again unmarked at this far left-hand post. They whip it across the 18-yard box. He gets a tap in. As you said there, Dance, they had a 5-on-3 situation. They've been brilliant, Brentford, in possession. Absolutely brilliant. Very calm, very composed. Corner from over on their right-hand side.
North-east corner, Berber to take it. Left-footed in-swinger for Brentford. Pack 6-yard box. Up goes Pinnock. Ederson flaps and sort of gets something on it. Comes out to the left-hand side, and it's retrieved by Brentford. Janelt works it back to Ayer, just in front of the centre circle. To his right is Mikkel Damsgaard. Plays it out to the right wing where Mbeumo is waiting. Grealish watching him though, so Mbeumo jinks and plays the ball back in field. Derby County 1, Cardiff 0. Kento Goodmine putting Derby ahead at Pride Park. Aberdeen lead Motherwell in Scotland, and Grimsby 0, Barrow 2. Theo Vassell with a second for the Cumbrians. Here's Christopher Ayer. Played out to the right wing, bit of space maybe for Mbeumo, but across comes Akanji, puts it out for a throw. Mbeumo nearly in down the right-hand side of the box, but good defending from the Swiss. 1-1.
Again, Brentford very, very good in possession. especially the centre halves. Vandenberg just playing it into Christoph Ayer. Ayer just trying to roll it into Mbeumo. In the end, Akanji comes out, gets his toe in. Throw for Brentford over on their right-hand side.
Short throw, and they got caught out there, City. It's whipped in deep to the far post. Pinnock with a header, tipped over by Edison. It was dropping under the crossbar. Awkward save. He thinks he didn't touch it, and he's claiming to Darren Bond that he got nothing on it, but I saw a glove go up against something on it. Brentford have a corner at the north stand end, 1-1.
Yeah, just mixing it up. Everybody thought it was going to be a long throw from Mbeumo, just whipped in from Christian Norgard. Far post, Ethan Pinnock completely unmarked. Just like a crash helmet on his head dance. He should be heading it back across goal. He's just skewed it completely, comes to the near post. Edison gets that little fingertip.
Right, maybe not. I've just seen a replay. I'm not sure that it did get a touch off Edison's right glove, in fairness
to
him.
VAR? No, I will leave it.
You can't do it for that. So it'll be a corner for Damsgaard in the northwest corner. Whipped in right under the crossbar again, punched away by Edison, and Burmo collects, knocks it down to his right hand side for Ayer. Manchester City now push out of their penalty area, and Brentford in any case work it all the way back to Flecken. Long ball hoofed downfield. Damsgaard has stayed forward. He's the furthest forward, and he should pick this up, and does. Left hand corner of the box, knocks it back for Lewis Potter. Awkward ball for the youngster to deal with, but he brings it down in the end and rolls it back to halfway for Nathan Collins. Collins just puts his foot on the ball, and then Norgard takes over. No Matthias Jensen in the Brentford side today. He's out injured, but Janelt is a very versatile player. We know the German for playing in central midfield usually anyway, and he played at left back against Southampton, but that midfield three have been fairly tenacious, and Brentford now trying to play another long ball, trying to release either Mbeumo or Visser, but Visser holds his hand up to Pinnock saying, sorry, got caught on my heels there. Ball's back with Akanji, 1-1.
Yeah, I think Janelt felt that Visser or Mbeumo would come and spin and try and get in behind Man City's back three. Just played it in that left-hand channel, but both Visser and Mbeumo come short. But Brentford, when they're out of possession, they go man for man. They're leaving 2v2. Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland up front. Grealish just dropped deeper, trying to get himself on the ball. But Brentford have been very, very good in and out of possession.
One thing that characterised Brentford's season last year was dropping points from winning positions, 30 in all that they let slip, and they've let potentially a winning position slip here today. They led but have been pegged back. Visser trying to play a ball through the middle from Burmo, but Akanji calmly onto it and guides it back to his goalkeeper Edison. Clears left-footed along the deck up to Gundogan, midway point of the half. He lays it back to Akanji and back again to the goalkeeper. Leyton Orient lead at Reading in League One. Charlie Kelman for the O's.
Stony bottom on the O's, no points.
Yep, not had the best start to the season, but that's an encouraging goal for Charlie Kelman at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. Long ball downfield. Oh, Haaland's got the better of Pinnock into the area. Haaland! There's the Premier League record! 9 goals in 4 games in the Premier League at the start of the season. And Haaland showed his strength at first to outmuscle Ethan Pinnock once he got clear. The cheekiest of lob finishes over Flecken. There was only ever going to be one outcome, and Erling Haaland is on a 3rd successive hat-trick. Can you believe that? What a player. And Manchester City, from being behind, are in front. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1.
Dance and love grows around Edison because they've put the press on Brentford. They left 1v1. Edison goes long, which Man City aren't afraid to do. Just a long ball down the middle from Edison. When all that happens is Pinnock looks like he's going to head it, and Haaland does very, very well with his body. He just makes sure that he backs into Ethan Pinnock. That was like a heavyweight boxer against a flyweight. It was just Erling Haaland's body strength. Ethan Pinnock was pathetic for someone as big as what he is. He should be the one who's knocking Erling Haaland off the ball. When we said about the different finishes, as Flecken comes up, you think, what's Erling Haaland going to do? In the end, he just dinks it over him. Cool as a cucumber. Man City go 2-1 up here at the Etihad. And you have to say it's just about deserved because Brentford have put up a good show. But Erling Haaland, I think that's probably the 5th time that he's touched the ball, and he scored twice.
So he's on 99 goals for Manchester City. From 4 touches, he's scored twice. And we're back underway on Talksport 2.
Sorry,
12 minutes to half time. And here is Haaland again. Oh, he finds Grealish at the edge of the area. Grealish across the face of the goal. Couldn't find Gundogan because Norgard turned it over the crossbar for a corner. Suddenly, there's a sky blue tide flowing towards the Brentford penalty area. They're 2-1 up and hungry for more, City.
Yeah, Brentford just lost their shape. They're discombobulated. Comes into Erling Haaland. That was his 6th and 7th touch of the game. Just puts it out to Jack Grealish. Just tries to square it into Gundogan, who's on the edge of the 6-yard box. Brilliant defending from Norgard. Just making sure he just sniffs out the trouble. Puts it out for a corner for Man City over on their left-hand side.
Which De Bruyne is going to take a right-footed in-swinger for Manchester City. Out to the edge of the area, onto the volley for Silvinho, blocked by Nathan Collins, who caught that full in the unmentionables, I think, and he stayed down, and he's going to need treatment because he's going to have to count them in a minute. I think he caught that ball amidships, as I think they say in cricket, and he's going to need some treatment. Yeah, I think Manchester City 2, Brentford 1, with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van.
Well,
Very Groves.
Nathan Collins might be all shapes and sizes at the moment, Dan, to be fair.
I knew that was coming.
We don't just throw this together, you know.
We don't. Meanwhile, Peterborough 0, Lincoln 1 in League 1. Ben House puts the Imps in front at London Road, but it's Manchester City 2, Brentford 1, or if you want to be a bit more accurate about it, Erling Haaland 2, Brentford 1. And as Perry rightly says, the assist went to Ederson. Meanwhile, we update you with the other goals in the Premier League. Manchester United won 3-0 at lunchtime at Southampton. Goalless Brighton Ipswich. Leicester lead at Palace, Jamie Vardy. Fulham lead against West Ham, Raul Jimenez. Liverpool Forest is goalless. And Manchester City here 2-1 up on Brentford. Villa Everton 5:30 tonight. Regular updates on that game during the course of the game day phone-in over on Talksport. That starts at 5:30 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking your calls before our little bonus Premier League action for you tonight at 8 o'clock. Bournemouth against Chelsea. Baker Others will be your host for that one. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff, live and exclusive on Talksport. 10 minutes to half time. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. Here is Manuel Akanji. Works it out to the inside left channel and Grealish. Lewis is stationed on the left wing, but Grealish comes in field. Rolls it back to John Stones. Now Akanji just darting away from Mbeumo. Lewis looking for Kovacic. And Kovacic will roll it to his right to Walker in the centre of the half. Out quickly to De Bruyne, right wing, faced up by Lewis Potter. Tries to work it in field for Kovacic. It will get to him eventually. Walker finds John Stones. Stones out to the left wing. And Rico Lewis, who's been waiting patiently to receive the ball on that far side, now gets it in field to Akanji. Akanji with a floaty pass into out, picking out Savinho on the right wing. Savinho into the area, laid off by Gundogan to De Bruyne. Now Savinho again finds Gundogan. Twists and turns just inside the area, right-hand side, near the byline. Savinho gets the shot away and Flecken holds it well to his right-hand side. And it stays Manchester City 2, Brentford 1 on Talksport 2.
Dance, what a touch that was from Savinho. It's like he's got velvet slippers on. This is a crossfield ball from Jack Grealish. Just took it on the outside of his left foot. Comes inside, Lewis Potter just rolls it to De Bruyne, gets the ball back again, gets his shot away. To be fair to Lewis Potter, he gets his block in.
Ball flicked on by Ayer, but it's comfortably intercepted just over the halfway line by Akanji. And City have it again. 8 minutes to half time. They lead 2-1. They were behind after 24 seconds to Johan Visser's close range header. But a brace from you-know-who has put things back to normal service. And remember, City don't usually win by just one goal. They usually win by 2 or more. And here they are coming forward again with Savinho. Down the right-hand side of the penalty area. We're going to take it beyond Lewis Potter. Lewis Potter sticks to his guns well, but Savinho keeps it in play at the dead ball line. Running out towards the corner flag on this near side. Just lifts it back downfield towards the halfway line to allow Stones to pick it up. And not just let it go out of play for a throw-in. And then Akanji knows that he's got Mbeumo its back and rolls it back to his keeper. Walsall 1, Bradford 1. Bradford equalise at the Poundland through Oliver Sanderson in League 2. Two of the top 8 playing there at the Poundland Stadium. The ball's rolled back by Stones to Ederson, who wasn't quite in his 18-yard box, but the ball wasn't on target for a potential own goal.
The reason, Dance, is Ederson actually came in and he was in front of Man City's three centre-halves, Walker, Stones and Akanji, playing the ball out to this right-hand side of John Stones, played it back to him, and Ederson had to go back and get it.
Now here's Savinho trying to roll the ball through to Haaland on a hat-trick. And he's on a century. He's on 99 Manchester City goals as things
Would I give him a red balloon afterwards?
I very much doubt it'd be that colour.
Just looking at his second goal, when I used to play in the under-10s, under-11s and playing against someone who's really big, and you think he's a ringer, you think he's like 15. That's Erling Haaland. That's exactly how he is against Ethan Pinnock, who's as big as him, and you look at him, you think, no mate, you're a ringer.
Yeah, I could have sworn I played against Peter Crouch for Old Ravens when I was about 12.
And the goalkeeper just gets it and smashes up and runs through. That's exactly what happened. That was just... Man City played brilliant football, we all know that.
But sometimes football's a simple game.
And Brentford put the press on, and Thomas Frank said before the game that Man City aren't frightened to go long, exactly what Ederson did, and it was straight down the centre of the pitch. So Thomas Frank will be absolutely furious at, obviously, Ethan Pinnock. But it's just route one from Man City.
Well, Haaland holds off Pinnock on halfway, and here come Manchester City again. 2-1 up with just over 5 minutes to half-time on Talksport 2. Grealish on the left wing, faced up by Ayer, rolls it in field for Manuel Akanji. Again, Brentford have got all their players back behind the ball in their defensive third. Kovacic just holds play up in front of that wall of forest green shirts. De Bruyne finds John Stones in the centre of the Brentford half. Early ball for Savinho. Right corner of the penalty area, drives at Lewis Potter, and wins a corner off the left wing back. Just over 5 minutes to half time. And City, well, they're not hanging about with this corner. Already Savinho's got it spotted to think about hitting it left footed, but the Man City players are only just casually walking into the penalty area. A lot of zonal marking from Brentford, not a lot of man-to-man in there.
Yep, Brentford just lined up right along the 6-yard box. And what'll happen is Savinho will just whip it in with his left foot, make sure he misses the first man.
Savinho's corner into the near post. It hits the first man, drops at the edge of the area. There was an attempted shot from, I think it was Jack Grealish, but it was blocked away, and Brentford come forward. And there's a foul by a combination of De Bruyne and Savinho on Visser, and Brentford have a free kick. And it is only 2-1. We shouldn't forget there's only one goal in this game, but since Manchester City got themselves level, Brentford have rarely got themselves into the opposition half. And remember, they had that brilliant opportunity with 5-on-3.
They've had first half, 2 or 3 dance, haven't they, in the wide areas, especially from the right-hand side. Ayers had a couple, and Buemo, where Lewis Potter's been unmarked on the far post, coming from the left-hand side, if they just pick the right pass. And it's been a really riveting first half, because Brentford has surprised us. I thought that they have sat deep at times, when Man City have been in possession, but especially in that first 25 minutes, they were very, very potent on the counter-attack. And now it's gone into type where, say, Brentford gone back into that 5-3-2 formation.
Visser wins the ball off Kovacic, who slides in from the back and brings down Visser, who's writhing in agony on the deck. Yellow card for Mateo Kovacic for that challenge, just shy of the halfway line. That's the first yellow card of the afternoon issued by Darren Bond. That's to the Manchester City number 8.
Yeah, it was a really poor touch from Kovacic initially, just got away from him. That enabled Visser just to nick it off his toes, and then he knew that Bryan Mbeumo was free on the right hand side, so Kovacic, are we allowed to call it the professional foul, or just taking one for the team?
Oh well, you can use either, can't you? I didn't know one of them was a problem to say professional foul, taking one for the team, because but it certainly knew that Visser has got the pace to get away from him and maybe launch a counter attack, although there weren't many in front of him. I think only Mbeumo was moving up on the right-hand side with that particular attack. Let me update you on the Championship scores at the moment. Earlier today, Burnley won at Leeds live on Talksport 2. Luton won at Millwall, and Oxford beat Stoke. Elsewhere, Blackburn won up on Bristol City. Derby 1-0 up on Cardiff City. Middlesbrough Preston is now 1-1. Mads Jensen has equalised for Preston just now. Sunderland won up at Plymouth. No goal Sheffield Wednesday QPR. Swansea 1-0 up on Norwich, and Coventry still 1 up at Watford. Visser still getting treatment. Don't forget, there's more live football across the weekend. Tomorrow on Talksport 2, 3 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. Portsmouth against West Bromwich Albion. Joe Shannon and Scott Minto. Meanwhile, Sam Matterface will bring you the Sunday session, including the North London derby updates. 1:30 that starts going around the grounds on Talksport. And then Monday night, big game in League One. Birmingham City against Wrexham. Jim Proudfoot and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk will be at St Andrews, and you will hear from the new owner of Birmingham City and his sidekick, that's Tom Wagner and Tom Brady, speaking to us in the hour before kickoff at St Andrews on Monday night. So it's Tom Brady against Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool against one of the greatest quarterbacks that Gridiron has ever seen. Visser still down, getting some treatment, so a few meetings going out on the pitch. Nobody's come across to this near side to speak to their respective managers or coaches, and it looks like Visser is not going to be able to continue, because we're being told that Kevin Schade is likely to come on for Visser sooner rather than later, Perry Groves.
Yeah, I think what's happened, because Kovacic is coming in from behind Visser, and he's come and he's taken his right foot, and I think what's happened is he's taken his right foot and then the left foot has taken all the weight, so I think it might have, looks like he's done his ankle.
Well, there's one thing, again, as well as dropping points, the one thing that characterised Brentford's season last year was injuries. I don't think there were many other teams that suffered the injury layoffs that Brentford have had. There's Rico Henry and Aaron Hickey, who still aren't in the matchday squad. We wonder whether they might be involved today, but both of those players, both usually first choice fullbacks for Brentford, both of those players have been out for a year and haven't been available to Thomas Frank. Rodri just getting a round of applause as he goes out to warm up along with Josko Gvardiol. Visser now getting to his feet, but he's hobbling towards the near touchline. He's clearly not going to be able to continue, so he's going off and has been moving to 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time. Schade is going to come on for Visser for the rest of the game.
He's walking off hesitantly. I know what you was going to use. I know what...
Mike, you said this about 10 months ago. I've stopped using that word, and yet you still claim I'm about to use it when I know I'm not going to.
I think it still comes in your head.
No, only because you're looking at me, sort of hovering over my shoulder.
Gingerly always comes in your head.
You said it, not me. Schade on for Visser, and he's just going to move down the tunnel. He's not going to sit on the bench. He's going to go straight into the away dressing room and get some treatment. But he's walking, even though he's hobbling, he is walking unaided, so maybe that's not too serious a knock for Visser. But it was his goal that started things off, and we now restart with a free kick for Brentford just shy of the halfway line. Flecken knocks it up, and it's knocked on by Pinnock into the area. Collins turns it across the face. He got just behind him. Burmo only half cleared. Cross comes back in. Pinnock with a swing and a miss. Yano inside the D. He's fallen to the floor, but he's still found Schade. Schade out to the left-hand side, and Lewis Potter check onto his right, and the shot that's blocked away by the fists of Edison and goes out of play on this near side for a Brentford throw. 2-1 City.
Yeah, Lewis Potter trying to give Edison the eyes there. Schade roll it to him on the edge of the 18-yard box on this left-hand side. Lewis Potter just cutting inside Carl Walker. So trying to give Edison the eyes and whiff it into the near post. Edison read it and just two-fisted it away. Praying for Brentford down on this left-hand side, which Norgard will hoist into the box.
And it comes then from level with the edge of the area from Christian Norgard. Up go the heads. It's Haaland who heads it clear. Back defending for his team. In steps Ayer to stop De Bruyne getting away. No nonsense clearance from him. And it's a throw to Manchester City in their right back position. 2 minutes of the minimum 5 have gone at the end of this first half on Talksport 2. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. Haaland on a hat-trick and one shy of 100 Manchester City goals. Ball's thrown back in by Walker for Edison.
Just see how well Brentford have played, Dan. How often does the visiting team come in and have more possession than Man City? In this first half at the moment, Brentford had 52% of possession.
It was as high as 75 early on in the piece. Manchester City have certainly dominated more as the half has gone on, but Brentford can be more than content with the way that they've knocked the ball around at times. Looked like a shove by Stones on Schade, not spotted by Darren Bond. But Brentford have kept possession. Pinnock, midway point of his own half, quite central, plays the ball back into square to Vandenberg, gives it back to Ethan Pinnock. Under a bit of pressure from Haaland, he'll just roll it back to his goalkeeper Flecken. Grimsby 1, Barrow 2. Grimsby get a goal back in League 2 right at the end of that first half at Blundell Park. Ayer, the Brentford right wing back, finds Vandenberg. He just hits the ball against Grealish and wins a throw. Pep Guardiola still pacing around, never entirely satisfied. Pep Guardiola with anything that he sees. There could be 8-0 up and he'd still be finding things to grizzle about.
The thing is, Dan, Man City, I've said, probably after about 25-30 minutes started to dominate possession when Brentford dropped deep, but Ederson has actually been the busier goalkeeper than what Flecken has. Flecken has only made one save and he finds his team 2-1 down because Brentford have been very aggressive when they're in possession. Man City have been a little bit clunky.
Well, now Sharda trying to close down Akanji, just gets a toe in on the ball to get it back to his keeper. Just a race between the two of them, and just for a second you thought Kevin Sharda might be able to outpace Manuel Akanji. Brentford have won it back anyway, left hand side. Lewis Potter is offside as he tried to win the ball off John Stone, spotted by the assistant on the far side. We're into the last minute of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half. And there are moments where Manchester City, who have conceded again, let's not forget, despite their brilliance at going forward, yet again they've failed to keep a clean sheet. They do show themselves to be a little bit vulnerable at times.
Well, they've been sloppy in possession, exactly where there. So Rico Lewis is playing it back in the end. Akanji just got himself in front of Sharda and got it back to Ederson. As I say, Man City haven't been nowhere near their free-flowing best. That's credit to Brentford. You know, they've made sure that they've stifled they want to play. But then they go into that man Haaland. So I think his second goal was his fourth touch, wasn't it?
His fourth touch indeed. It's back with John Stones. And we're about to tick round past 50 minutes, then it's up to Darren Bond how much more we play in this first half. Walker looking to play the ball through the centre of the pitch for the run of De Bruyne, blocked away only temporarily by Brentford. Savinho comes in field, he's got Walker calling for him, right hand side, but Savinho's held on to it. Right hand corner of the penalty area, now he rolls it back in field and a bit further back to Mateo Kovacic, across to Manuel Akanji. Akanji out to Grealish on the left wing. One last chance maybe for City here to create something. Akanji plays the ball into the area down the left hand side for Lewis. He gives it back to Akanji and the Swiss defender launches the ball into the box, deep to the far post for Savinho, brings it down, looks to find Haaland, and the climb from Norgard got the better of him, and Darren Bond brings the first half to a close. It's been fantastic fare here at the Etihad, and we are so close to history for so many reasons. Erling Braut Haaland, playing today when some thought he might not even figure due to the death of a close family friend in the week, is on a hat-trick again. After two successive hat-tricks in previous Premier League games, he's helped turn things around after Johan Visser gave Brentford a shock lead inside 30 seconds, nodding the ball home from close range. But around the 20-minute mark, Haaland got City back into it. A turn and shot deflected past Flecken and into the net for goal number 98 in Manchester City Sky Blue. Goal number 99 came just after the half hour when Haaland out-muscled Pinnock on the halfway line, just past the halfway line, and lifted the ball over Flecken to be on the verge of 100 goals. He's also now a record holder for the first four Premier League games in terms of goals scored, 9 in his first four. The man is a marvel, and he's turned things around for Pep Guardiola. At the break, Manchester City 2, Brentford 1.
One short of a century of goals. Nervous 90s. It's the defenders he makes nervous, Perry. It's ridiculous. He hasn't missed a beat, considering everything we've talked about that he's gone through this week.
Yeah, I thought he'd be, on top of his game, which he has been. We mentioned that he wasn't involved whatsoever. Then all of a sudden, he gets a little lucky break because the ball comes to Kevin De Bruyne in the 18-yard box. Norgard gets a little touch, and then it's just instinct. It's
not even half a chance for anyone else.
No, exactly, it's instinct, because what you do is you do in your training, you do finishing, you do where you should be and making runs and leaving the space. But that is just inbred. All that is as it's come to him, in one movement, he swiveled and shot with his right foot, which obviously we said before he can score goals in different ways. Right foot's very unusual, and it's a brilliant contact on it. It just gets a touch from Ethan Pinnock. Maybe he can be a bit closer. It gives Flecken no chance. That puts Man City back in it at 1-1. And then, as I said,
the second goal is very different. It shows strength and guile and a deft touch. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like, my analogy was like he's a ringer. That was like an under 15 playing against an under 10, because Brentford put the full press on. And then Edison's got the ball. We know that Edison's got an anvil in his boot because he can smash it 60, 70 yards. It's a pass. It's not a clearance. It's a lofted pass straight down the middle of the pitch. Ethan Pinnock is favourite to win it. He should be winning the ball. He should be strong. He should be holding his ground. He should be heading it away. And what happens is Haaland's very clever. He just backs into him. And as he backs into him, he knocks him off balance. Then he's clear on goal. And then everybody in the stadium thinking this end up back of the net. What's he going to do? Is he going to go around the goalkeeper? He's going to give him the eyes. What does he do? He does the little dink finish like he did against West Ham last week. Gives Fleck an absolute no chance. And from nothing, Man City go 2-1 up, because I have to say, Brentford have been very, very good in this first half.
Yeah, they really were. They started brilliantly. Just one quick point on the route oneness of the second City goal. Russell Martin, Southampton. If you're watching this, Pep Guardiola's quite a good coach. We all know that. And he's got that in his locker. They can play the dainty stuff, but every now and again, if Edison spots one, bang, straight to the striker.
It's game management, because they knew that the press was on, and they knew that Brentford were trying to win the ball up high. And then he knew that obviously Haaland was 1v1, and he's got the fact. There was a couple of times in the first half where Edison was actually in front of his three centre halves, because he comes in and they make it the spare man. But Man City haven't been nowhere near their best. Their passing has been a little bit clunky, give it away a little bit. Rico Lewis is coming into midfield. The only one who stays disciplined with Man City is Kovacic, because he's the one who stays at the base. All the others like Gundogan, De Bruyne, Grealish, they're allowed to go and wander, go into left half, into inside left, right half, inside right. Grealish and Savino, they stay wide, but as the midfield ones, they're, say, like the Red Arrows, they can go and do what they do. But Brentford have defended really well. The only thing I would say, when they go back into their 5-3-2, I would go into a 5-4-1 and leave someone up front. I'd leave Mbeumo up front, because
a few times it's John Stones picked up the ball and he's got 40 yards.
Exactly, they can't get out. But that's being very harsh on Brentford, because they've actually dominated possession, and Edison has been the busier goalkeeper. He's made 5 saves, Flecken's only made 1, and Brentford find themselves 2-1 down.
Yeah, they certainly played their part, especially in the first half of that first half. 1 minute they were 1-0 up, but Manchester City have come back through that man, Erling Haaland, and City lead 2-1 at half-time. Let's look ahead to this evening's Premier League action with Sky Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. Like Aston Villa versus Everton live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Aston Villa against Everton, 5:30 kickoff tonight. Dave Rowe joins us to look ahead. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Chris. How are we doing?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Good news for Villa fans that Ollie Watkins is fit again. It feels really key as they prepare to almost battle on two fronts, Premier League, Champions League football, but he could do with that first goal of the season.
It is. It's quite remarkable, actually. He's not scored now for 8 successive Premier League games, going across 2 seasons, of course, which is remarkable when we look at the form he's had in recent years for Aston Villa. And you mentioned the fact that the Champions League obviously is starting. They have their first game in the week, so quite a test for Unai Emery to try and manage his squad across the 2 competitions. The games are going to be coming thick and fast for now. They don't have the biggest squad in the world, so yeah, certainly to have Watkins fit for today and firing will certainly be a big boost.
Yeah, it certainly will. So they've got young boys in the Champions League in midweek. They've got small boys today. Everton have lost all 3 games, and most painfully that throwaway defeat to Bournemouth, 3-2 from 2-0 up. Are they a real relegation risk this year?
I think they are. I mean, there was so much that was wrong about that. I think the big thing that you look at with Everton is the fact they've conceded 10 goals in 3 games. Well, last year they conceded 51 across the season of 38, so that ratio is far higher. Obviously, the lack of with Brentford being out injured, with Patterson being missing as well, that's not helping. But they do have experienced defenders playing, so it's hard to say. The big thing about that the giveaway against Bournemouth, when of course they were 2-0 up with 4 minutes to go and still managed to lose 3-2, was the way in which the players just kind of, whether they were out of condition or they just, I'm not going to use the word give up, but it looked like it. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, good, gassed. And you wouldn't expect that from a Sean Dyche team. And the collapse, the 3 goals were no surprise, because Bournemouth were just, it was coming all the way. Yeah. So what's caused that? Why is that wrong? And if that can't be fixed, then they're in for a very long season.
Yeah, they need to fix it quick. Dave Rowe, great to talk to you. That was a look ahead to this afternoon's Premier League action with Sky Sports. Don't forget, you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now, like Aston Villa against Everton live today. Just search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. Like Aston Villa versus Everton live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
So here at the Etihad, Manchester City have come from behind. They lead Brentford by 2-1. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have a look at all of the half-time scores across the country.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. Like Aston Villa versus Everton live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less waiting and more working, less downtime and more doing. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
The Philly cheese stack is back at McDonald's. 2 beef patties, crispy and grilled onions, cheddar cheese, all topped with a melted cheddar cheese sauce. What could be better? How about playing the Monopoly game with a Philly cheese stack too? Yes, please. Until 15th of October from 11 a.m. Participating UK restaurants. Subject to availability. 18 plus. At may be required. See mcdrules.co.uk.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in and drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
100% total football each and every weekend.
Oh, and he's grabbed it!
Game day.
Brilliant strike!
Live football coverage that's beyond compare.
Game day exclusive
on Talksport 2.
This is Game Day. Half-time classifieds.
Coming live from the Etihad, let's get the classifieds across the country, starting with
Premier League.
Southampton 0, Manchester United 3 in the early kickoff. It's 0-0 between Brighton and Ipswich. Crystal Palace 1-0 down to Leicester at half-time, but Fulham are 1-0 up against West Ham. No goals between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest, and here at the Etihad, Manchester City have come from behind. They lead Brentford 2-1.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the early game that we broadcast on Talksport 2, Burnley got a 1-0 away win at Leeds. Luton also won away by the same score, 1-0 away at Millwall. Oxford 1, Stoke 0 is a full time. As for the half times, Blackburn 1-0 up at home to Bristol City. Derby 1-0 up against Cardiff. Middlesbrough 1, Preston 1. Plymouth 0, Sunderland 1. What a brilliant start Sunderland have had. Sheffield Wednesday and QPR are goalless. And Swansea are 1-0 up at home against Norwich. To round off the Championship, Watford 0, Coventry 1.
Sky Bet League One.
Mansfield 2, Cambridge 1 is a full-time score from earlier, so too is Northampton 1, Wickham 2. In the half-times, Blackpool are 1-0 up against Exeter, Bolton 1-0 down at home to Huddersfield. Bristol Rovers 0, Wigan 2, Crawley 0, Stockport 1. Louis Barry's having a great season, he's got the goal. Peterborough 0, Lincoln 1, Reading 0, Leyton Orient 1. A few away scores going in League One. Rotherham 1 and Burton Albion 1 at half-time. And the two games between Shrewsbury and Charlton and Stevenage and Barnsley are goalless.
Sky Bet League Two.
In the early kickoffs, big derby, they don't like each other. Wimbledon took the bragging rights. Wimbledon 3, MK Dons 0, Swindon 4, Newport 0. And in the half-times, Accrington 0, Crewe 0, Bromley 2-1 up at home to Notts County, Carlisle 2-1 down at home against Fleetwood, Gillingham 0, Tranmere 0, Grimsby 1, Barrow 2, Morecambe 1, Colchester 1. And to round things off, just a couple more. Port Vale 1, Chesterfield 0, Salford 0-0 with Cheltenham, and Walsall are drawing 1-1 at home to Bradford. So that is the half-time classifieds across the country. Here at the Etihad, Manchester City found themselves 1-0 down to Brentford inside 40 seconds. And they were dozing, Perry Groves. What was going on there?
No, they just weren't focused. Brentford had the kick-off. They kept possession. They got it forward very, very quickly. Got it out onto the right-hand side. And a feature of Brentford's play in this first half, when they're in possession, even when Flecken's in possession in his own 6-yard box, they push King Lewis Potter on the left-hand side, who's left wing-back, very high. They push Christopher Ayer on the other side, the right wing-back. Basically, they play as wingers. That's what they did from kick-off. Ayer gets the ball in, comes to Lewis Potter. He gets his head back across. John Stones has an absolute shocker where he should chalk his boot because he sliced it completely. He thinks Edison's going to get it, takes his eye off it, just spins up, and then Visser on the far post, heads it into empty net. And to be fair, even after Brentford went 1-0 up, they didn't sit back. They still tried to play. They still got themselves in really good positions. There's 3 or 4 times in that first half, especially in the wide areas, where they picked the wrong pass. So they picked the right pass, especially Lewis Potter on this left-hand side. He was free in the 18-yard box. And as I said earlier, Brentford are top of all the stats. That very, very rarely happens here at the Etihad. So I wouldn't be surprised, like maybe halfway through the second half, or even after about 10 minutes, that Pep Guardiola doesn't make any changes, because they weren't in control of that game. Brentford actually controlled it for long periods.
Well, here come Manchester City out onto the field. We've just seen an image here, Danta, of the tackle on Johan Wissa from Mateo Kovacic. The still doesn't look good.
No, and a yellow card was issued to Mateo Kovacic, and he is being substituted at half-time. There is a double change that Pep Guardiola is making. Rodri is coming on for Mateo Kovacic, which isn't a bad sub in itself. The other change has seen Rico Lewis go off. Josko Gvardiol, the Croatian, is on in place of him. That would suggest, Perry Groves, that Manchester City are going to be a little bit more circumspect in the way they defend, not quite so gung-ho.
Well, I think what it is, Guardiola's looked at it and thought that they weren't in control of the game. At the Etihad, we said they're 45 unbeaten before today, but they always control games where they weren't. So I think I know that he's put Rodri on, because Rodri is the conductor of the orchestra. He's the one who gets you in possession.
Back 4 now for Man City.
Yeah, Guardiola will play as a left back. Well, Rico Lewis was a left back, but then coming into sort of midfield. But I think it's Rodri is the most important change, because he's the one who's been put on to Man City get control of the game.
Man City get us back underway on Talksport 2 in their sky blue shirts, white shorts and darker blue socks, heading from right to left as we look towards the north stand. We're in the Colin Bell stand here at the back of the bottom tier. There are 3 tiers to this stand, as indeed with all the stands at the Etihad. Brentford in their change strip of the forest green shirts and shorts and lime green socks. They're kicking towards the south stand where their supporters are. So the lineups: Edison in goal for City. Now back 4 of Walker, Stones, Akanji and Gvardiol. Rodri holding Savinho, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Grealish, Haaland on a hat-trick, let's not forget, and on 99 goals for City as things stand. I'll bring you the Brentford lineup in a moment, because here comes City early in the second half as Gundogan tucks the ball in field to Rodri. His first involvement plays a short pass to his right for De Bruyne. Savinho, right-hand corner of the penalty area, faced up by Lewis Potter rolls his foot on the ball and gives it back to Kyle Walker, now an orthodox right back in this revamped City lineup. Rodri again looks to float the ball out to Gvardiol, the other substitute, who picks it up level with the edge of the area, left-hand side. Grealish on the overlap just ahead of him, jinking his way, trying to get some space, but he's been followed all the way by Christopher Ajer. Lots of goals going in elsewhere early in the second half. I'll let you know about those in a moment. But meantime, it's with Kyle Walker. Spreads it out to the right wing for Manchester City again, and Savinho. Savinho once again has Lewis Potter for company. Darting for the ball and then goes into the area, goes down, and he's been booked for simulation for going down. Has Savinho. Darren Bond quick to blow the whistle and award the free kick to Brentford. And I'll quickly go through the Brentford lineup. Flecken in goal. Ajer and Lewis Potter, the wing-backs. Vandenberg, Collins and Pinnock, the centre-halves. Damsgaard, Norgard, Janelt in midfield. It's Schade up front alongside Mbermo. Schade came on for Visser after he was injured in the first half.
Brilliant refereeing from Darren Bond. That's embarrassing from Savinho. He's been really good in the first half. He just tries to come back and cut across Janelt. Dance, and Janelt knows what he's going to do. Janelt's nowhere near him, probably about half a yard away. And Savinho then does the... if you're coming out of a parachute, where you just arch your back and then you throw yourself to the floor.
Platoon. William Defoe in Platoon.
Brilliant refereeing from Darren Bond.
Now, Christopher Ayer's gone down, having had a little clash off the ball with Jack Grealish, but Grealish now helping to his feet. Goals going in elsewhere. Salford 0, Cheltenham 1, Carlisle 2, Fleetwood 2. They come from 2-0 down at home. Carlisle, Charlie White with both of them for Carlisle. Crystal Palace 1, Leicester 2. Leicester went 2-0 up early in the second half through Steffi Mavididi. But Crystal Palace get a goal back with Mateta. Gillingham 1, Tranmere 0, Morecambe 1, Colchester 2, so the 10 men of Morecambe having led and now behind against the U's. Bristol Rovers 0, Wigan Athletic 3, Fellow Asgard, and Notts County have equalised at Bromley, having been 2-0 down. Dan Crowley, and Charlton lead at Shrewsbury in League 1. Ghassan Ahadme's first goal for the Addicts early in the second half. You're up to date on Talksport 2. With Manchester City in possession in their own half at the moment. Gvardiol being pressurised by Mikkel Damsgaard. Gets the ball back to Gundogan, who trots away from his own 18-yard line, gets to the midway point of the half, and then feeds it out to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne has Walker moving up on his outside, just inside the Brentford half of the field. Tucked in field by De Bruyne now for Rodri. Such an imposing figure in front of that Manchester City back four. Akanji in possession, finds Grealish. Inside left channel, darting towards the left-hand corner of the area. On the overlap is Gvardiol, gets to the byline, tries to cross, and it's blocked behind by Ajer for a corner to Manchester City away to our left. 2-1 they lead.
Yeah, good link-up play on this left-hand side. Jack Grealish going inverted into the inside left position. That allows Gvardiol to come on the outside of him. Tries to go on the outside of Ajer. I have to say, in the wide areas, Brentford have been very, very good. They've always doubled up whoever's got the ball for Man City. This time it was Ajer and Vandenberg on this left-hand side. Ajer gets the block in, corner for Man City on their left.
To be taken by De Bruyne. Blackburn 2, Bristol City 0. Yuki Ohashi, the Japanese, has been playing very well for Blackburn since he joined there. Grealish takes the short corner back to Gundogan, rolls it across to the edge of the area. A touch taken by Savinho. Sends it out to the right wing for Rodri, who's out there in the one area of the pitch that's still bathed in afternoon sunshine, the rest of the pitch in shade. Clipped into the box by De Bruyne, but a comfortable catch by Flecken. Plymouth have equalised against Sunderland in the Championship. Dan Ballard equalises at Home Park for the Pilgrims. Ball's in the arms of the Brentford keeper, Mark Flecken.
Another inane stat, Plymouth and Sunderland. Sunderland haven't given 1 minute to any player over 30 this season. They've given 930 minutes to teenagers. So have they got the experience now to hold off Plymouth now they've equalised?
We shall see. It's 2-1 here to Manchester City. Down went Gundogan. And again, Darren Bond did not see that as a foul on the Manchester City player, but equally didn't see it as simulation. Damsgaard turns towards halfway, finds Schade. First time ball intended for Ajer, but it was a poor pass from Kevin Schade, comfortably intercepted by the City back line, and it's back with Ederson. Ederson, it clears straight onto the boot of Damsgaard, and Burmo wins it back. Janelt up to the edge of the area, runs into trouble. Brentford still managed to pick up the second ball. And it's not back by Vandenberg into the path of Collins. Now out to the right wing, the near side to us for Brentford. And Christopher Ayer. Damsgaard receives the ball from Ayer and gives it back to Christian Norgard. Infield it goes to the German Vitali Janelt. Celtic lead Hearts in Scotland. Arne Engels for the opener at Celtic Park. Ayer again for Brentford. Worked back by Vandenberg to Pinnock. And Pinnock now spreads play all the way out to the left-hand side, and Keane Lewis Potter playing in this left wing-back role today. Stevenage 1, Barnsley 0 in League One. Elliot List puts the Borough ahead at the Lamex. Pinnock again for Brentford. We played 6 minutes of the second half. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. That was the score at half-time as well here on Talksport 2. Schade out on the left-hand side. Tries a little back heel, but it hadn't been anticipated by Janelt. Just drifts out of play for a Manchester City throw. 2-1 the Citizens lead. Perry Groves.
Just a misunderstanding with Schade on that left-hand side, because they'd worked it really well. They kept possession nicely. The three midfield players of Brentford, all very comfortable on the ball. Damsgaard, Norgard and Janelt. And it goes up to Schade. He just does a little back heel and rolls it out of play. So where Brentford were looking comfortable in possession.
And Pinnock just got the better of Haaland with a bit of toing and throwing, as Haaland tried to hold the ball up as it was rolled up to him. Ball's back with Fleck and the Brentford keeper. Left-footed clearance. Goes almost through to Christopher Ayer, but very cleverly headed out of play by Guardiol. But Brentford don't hang about with the throw, but Damsgaard just turned into trouble. Rodri so comfortably won it back for Manchester City and finds De Bruyne. Quick flick round the corner, finds Gundogan on halfway, but he's been dispossessed. Here's Mbermo now for Brentford. Goes down under pressure from Guardiol. No free kick. Thomas Frank can't believe it's not been given. Grealish has it back for Manchester City. Frank now having a word with the fourth official about why a free kick was not given there, and Ben Tony just calmly explaining what the situation is. Meantime, Savinho out the right-hand side for City. Still the conversation going on.
Ben Toner's gone, I haven't got a whistle. I'm not refereeing. What are you chewing my ear off for? I can't do anything about it.
Akanji for Manchester City. 2-1 up Man City are. He gets it back from Grealish. Again, Brentford get everybody behind the ball, and Akanji just whacks it back into his own half for Ederson. Ederson rolling his foot on the ball. Schade getting close to him. Plays the ball very calmly along the deck up to Gundogan at the edge of the centre circle. And Gundogan plays a 1-2 with Akanji. But again, Brentford are now pressing up the pitch. They're trying to hem Manchester City in. Ball brought clear by John Stones down this left-hand side for City. Then guided back by Rodri to his keeper Ederson under a bit of pressure from Norgard in that moment.
Yeah, it was really good pressing from Brentford, started by Mbermo and Schade.
And now again it's Haaland trying to isolate Pinnock, but this time Pinnock kept his eye on the high ball sent downfield and headed it down and kept it away from the Norwegian. It's back with Flecken.
Yeah, it's deja vu again. Exactly same as Erling Haaland's second goal, where Ederson just pings the ball right down the centre pitch. He said this time Pinnock made sure he watched the flight of the ball and got it, but Brentford have just given it away cheaply back to Man City.
Rotherham 2, Burton 1. Cameron Humphreys gets his first goal for the Millers, and Notts County have come from behind 2-0 down. They were at Bromley, they're now 3-2 up. Alassana Yatta for Notts County. Bromley 2, Notts County 3. Gundogan for Manchester City finds Grealish, left hand corner of the penalty area. Infield it goes to De Bruyne, gives it back to Grealish, down towards the dead ball line, trying to sort his feet out, keeps it in play. De Bruyne there once again will roll it back to Akanji. Rolled in field for Rodri, 30 yards out, chips the ball looking for Walker, intercepted by Lewis Potter, but his chest clearance went straight to Savinho. Walker darting down the right hand side of the box, cross into the area, deflected away from sky blue shirts and cleared away, and Mbermo can't get hold of the ball. It was nowhere near him, in fairness. There was the attempt by Janelt to find him, but the cross-field ball was overhit, out of play for a City throw.
Yeah, Jack Grealish found himself in a really good position inside left. He should be crossing it either with his left foot outside his right foot. Great ball from De Bruyne outside of his right foot.
And here's Savinho, right-hand corner of the box for Manchester City, going at Lewis Potter, driving it to the near post, straight into the chest of the goalkeeper Flecken, who holds on to it gratefully. 55 minutes gone on Talksport 2. It is Manchester City 2, Brentford 1 on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. About half that number inside the Etihad here today. on another beautiful afternoon for Premier League football. A bit of a pull of the shirt from Rodri on Mbeumo. Ball's out of play for what was going to be a Man City throw, but it's a Brentford free kick. Bolton 0, Huddersfield 2. Josh Corrimer gets a second for Huddersfield. Bolton's start to the season has not been the best. A bit of a playoff hangover in League One after losing to Oxford in the Wembley final back in May. Stevenage 2, Barnsley 0. That's Carl Piergianni up to the back to get the second. Bit of applause for the City substitutes going out to warm up, and Fabio Carvalho also going out to warm up for Brentford. Very talented young lad who moved from Fulham to Liverpool. Didn't really come off for him. Now Gvardiol knocks the ball back to Edison under pressure from Sharda. Ball's only cleared as far as Ayer. Ayer clips it out to the right wing for Mbeumo. Mbeumo level with the edge of the area, right hand side, looking to work across him maybe. No, he rolls it back instead to Damsgaard. Now Damsgaard finds Ayer. Ayer being faced up by De Bruyne, and Ayer has to go all the way back to his keeper Flecken. Midway point of his own half mark, Flecken hits a diagonal ball right to left, seeking out Pinnock. Tries to rise for the header. Bit of an air shot from Rodri. Where's the ball going to drop? Grealish has it on halfway, but he's had the ball taken off his toe by Mikael Damsgaard. And the Brentford midfield still working really hard and tenaciously to try and win the ball back.
Yeah, I said they've been very impressive. The midfield three, Damsgaard, Norgard and Janelt, just putting Man City under pressure. Janelt there just getting a little toe in, getting away from Jack Grealish. What I'm looking at Brentford now, Dance, is they're missing Visser, because Visser was the threat that was in behind, and when he was spinning behind, then it actually stretches Man City a little bit. So obviously Sharda has gone up front with Mbeumo just dropping off of him. He hasn't been that threat in behind. Sharda's very good technically.
Not yet. He's no slouch though, Sharda. We'll see whether he gets the chance to stretch his legs in the same way that Visser did.
Well, he's a smooth operator when he comes on.
I was really dreading that. The moment I saw his name on the team sheet, I thought, oh, he's got them prepared. Perry Groves is here all week on Talksport 2.
I've got another one.
Side. I bet you have. I think I know what it is as well. I bet I can predict it. Keane Lewis Potter. And let's have none on him, please. Out on the left-hand side for Brentford. Approaching the hour mark. Manchester City 2-1 up. Still 0-0 at Anfield, incidentally. Liverpool against Nottingham Forest is still goalless. I think there's a triple change that Arne Slot is preparing for Liverpool in that game. Gillingham down to 10 men in their game in League 2. Ethan Coleman's been sent off. Here's Mbeumo for Brentford. 2-1 down here at the Etihad. And he's trying to race through the centre. He's got Stones making the run. He slips it into Lewis Potter. Potter tried to send it across the face of goal. And Thomas Frank has sunk to his knees in the technical area, sensing that was a glorious opportunity on the counter-attack, wasted by his Brentford players.
That's what we'll talk about in the first half. Brentford work it brilliantly. It comes out to Norgard. Norgard's a brilliant first-time pass. Releases Brian Mbeumo. Can he make the right decision? He does. He puts it out to Lewis Potter. All Lewis Potter's got to do is make sure he gets the quality ball and roll it in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. And then Sharda on the far post, he taps it in, overhits it, goes wide.
It's actually Thomas Frank who did the Willem Dafoe sink to his knees, throw his hands up in the air, platoon pose when that chance went a-begging for Brentford. Haaland, meantime, still in the game, still on a hat-trick, still one shy of 100 Manchester City goals in 103 appearances. The mind boggles. Will he get a chance to get that hat-trick? Morecambe 1, Colchester 3. Lyle Taylor for the U's against 10-man Morecambe. They have scored this season now, the Shrimps, but going to lose again.
Dan, there's a random stat. Morecambe lost the first 5 games all 1-0. They conceded 5 goals, they were bottom. Doncaster Rovers were top, and they conceded 8.
It's a balmy league sometimes, League 2. Mess with your head. Salford 1, Cheltenham 1 in that division. Hakeeb Adelakun equalises for Salford at the Peninsula. Now here's Gvardiol under pressure from his opposite number 24, Damsgaard. Works the ball back to Edison. An hour gone on Talksport 2. Same score as we had at half-time. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. Brentford were ahead inside 30 seconds in the first half through Visser, who's since gone off injured and been substituted. Haaland with a brace. to put City in control, but they are only 1 goal clear. Ball's rolled back to Akanji on halfway for Manchester City.
It's all a little bit static at the moment, Dance. Brentford have got themselves back into that 5-3-2 shape. See Man City trying to break them down.
Well, De Bruyne trying a ball with the outside of his right boot from this near left-hand touchline, trying to get Grealish in behind, but he was well marshalled by Ayer. And the ball's out of play for a throw to Manchester City, 10 yards from the dead ball line on this near side to us, the City left.
He's done really well, Ayer, because predominantly he likes to play as a centre-half. And he's playing out on this right wing-back. He's been 1v1 with Jack Grealish. At the moment, Jack Grealish hasn't managed to get past him.
Well, here is Grealish, who has got past him, gets to the byline, tries to pull it back, but it was intercepted by Vandenberg. Here is Ayer, who plays it along the deck to Schade, tried to knock it down for Damsgaard, but it was out of play for a throw. Watford 1, Coventry 1 at Vicarage Road. Tom Deli Bashiru, one of Manchester City's academy, equalises for Watford in the Championship. In the Premier League here at the Etihad, 62 minutes gone on Game Day exclusive here on Talksport 2. Manchester City leading Brentford by 2-1. Stones finds Gundogan, midway point of the Brentford half, strokes it out to Savinho in the right wing position. Savinho got 2 players watching him in the Brentford forest green shirts. Tucked in field for Rodri, great run by Gvardiol. It's opened up a bit of space for Grealish, left hand corner of the box, and his cross hits the back of Damsgaard and goes out of play on this near side for a City throw, 2-1.
Dance, I think what Jack Grealish has to add to his game is obviously keeping the width on the left-hand side. Then he goes into the inside left position with Guardo coming on the outside. He keeps going on his right foot. Ayer knows what he's going to do. He keeps going on his right foot. He tries to cross it there. Ayer gets the block in. He's got to vary it where he's got to just get it out of his feet and go on the outside and get his foot crossing with his left foot.
What game at Brunton Park? It was 2-0 to Carlisle. Fleetwood got it back to 2-2. It's now 2-3. Danny Mayer for Fleetwood Town at Brunton Park. Carlisle 2, Fleetwood 3. 2-1 to City here as Ilkay Gundogan drives over the halfway line, trying to feed it through for Grealish, and then he's pulling at the shirt of Damsgaard. Well, the referee's not spotted it. City have it back. And Rodri, centre of the Brentford half, options right and left for the giant Spanish midfielder, just chips the ball nonchalantly out to De Bruyne, inside right position, rolls it back for Kyle Walker. Walker finds Rodri, out to De Bruyne right wing, chance to put a cross into the area, looking for Haaland. He was ready to head it goalwards, but Sepp Vandenberg got something on it and headed it behind for a City corner, 2-1.
Dan, I just looked at Erling Haaland there in Man City's build-up. When it comes out to Rodri and Gundogan, and again it goes out to Kevin De Bruyne at right-hand side. Haaland wasn't interested at all in coming to feet and getting the ball. What he was doing is jogging in on the edge of the 18-yard box and thinking, right, I'm going to try and get on the blind side of Nathan Collins so I can get my head up. Great ball in from Kevin De Bruyne. To be fair to Nathan Collins, it was a good defensive header. He was aware of Haaland.
Short corner at this north stand end for City. De Bruyne rolls it in field to Gundogan. Gundogan across to Savinho at the edge of the area, gets it onto his right and drives it over the bar by a good couple of yards. It'll be a goal kick to Mark Flecken and Brentford. You're listening to Manchester City 2, Brentford 1 on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream more Sky Sports football than ever before, available with no contract on now, like Aston Villa against Everton live at tea time today. Search Now Sports for all the details. Blackburn Rovers 3, Bristol City 0. Yuki Ohashi with another goal, the Japanese player for John Eustace's Blackburn, who start the season well, and Crawley equalise at home to Stockport County. Junior Quintana with a penalty for the Sussex club. So that's 1-1. 2-1 here. Perry Groves has spotted something because he's pointing.
No, just looking at Man City from their corners, it's been a feature of them that I'd say 80% of them have been short corners where they've just rolled it out. We had it there with Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne and rolled it to Gundogan and then squared it to Savinho, because Man City know right across the 6-yard box, Dan, you mentioned the first half, that Brentford go zonal. So you got Ayer, Vandenberg, Collins and Pinnock. So Man City think it's not worth whipping it in. We'll try and move them. But Savinho got the ball stuck under his feet. He should be getting it out of his feet, get his shot off his left foot. He actually got his right foot and it went high and wide.
Goals flying in League One. Bolton 0, Huddersfield 3 now at the tough sheet. Ben Wiles gets the third for the Terriers.
Put your teeth in.
I'm always careful with that one. And Bristol Rovers 0, Wigan 4. Luke Chambers gets a 4 for Wigan down at the Mem. I think there's a penalty to Plymouth at home park against Sunderland. We'll see how that goes, and that's 1-1 at the moment. Meantime, Manchester City coming forward with Grealish. Approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area. You've got Brentford defenders backpedaling. Look for Haaland at the edge of the area, but the ball just wouldn't snake its way through to him. And in the end, Flecken, he clears it straight at Savinho inside the area. He's got his back to goal, Savinho. Now he turns and darts down the right-hand side of the box, being watched by Keane Lewis Potter. Has to give it back to Kyle Walker. Rodri showing infield for a pass, but it goes back out to Savinho on the Manchester City right-hand side. Approaching the midway point of the second half. 2-1 to City. Here's Grealish. 25 yards out, just to the left of centre. Gives it back to Akanji. Now De Bruyne up to the edge of the area, but that's cleared away, but quite lazily by Van den Berg. Allows De Bruyne to get it back to the edge of the area. Grealish with a drive. Great save by Mark Flecken. Flung out a left paw and turned it behind for a Manchester City corner. 2-1.
Really poor clearance there from Van den Berg. He should be just 2 feet down the line. Miskicks it. Comes to Jack Grealish, edge of the 18-yard box, and his right foot. He's just trying to bend it into Flecken's bottom left-hand corner. In the end, I think it was just a touch from Pinnock, took the pace of it, and a really good save from Flecken. Full stretch to his left hand, just palms it away for a corner for Man City over their right-hand side.
Which will be taken by Savinho, a left-footed in-swinger at the north stand end. Holds up both arms aloft, then drives it into around the 6-yard line, headed out by Shardat. And it will go out of play for a throw. Plymouth 2, Sunderland 1. That penalty was scored by Ryan Hardy for Plymouth. They turned it around, and Burton are back level at Rotherham United. That's 2-2. Dak Cooper-Love with a second for the Brewers in that game in League One. Quarter of the game to go on Talksport 2. Don't forget the game day phone in straight afterwards on Talksport at 5:30 with Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy, and then we bring you Bournemouth Chelsea at 8 o'clock live on Talksport from the Premier League. That's another exclusive. Here's Kyle Walker for Manchester City, sliding into the area. Gundogan, corner of the 6-yard box. Haaland went for the hat-trick, and it's tipped over acrobatically by Flecken for another Man City corner. 2-1.
That's a brilliant ball from Kyle Walker. Just spotter's badge, sees Gundogan making that run into the inside right position. Gundogan gets himself to the byline, and it's just whether he can pick out the right pass. Just gets the ball, turns, just rolls it back to Erling Haaland on his right foot. Sweeps the ball across, good save from Flecken, tips it over the crossbar.
Quickly taken corner, right-hand side. It's rolled into the area for Savinho. Looking to put it across the face of goal. Might get it through to Haaland. It's cleared away by Lewis Potter. Flick further, cleared by Damsgaard, but Kyle Walker first on the scene to calm things down for Manchester City. De Bruyne now hits a diagonal crossfield ball right to left, picking out Grealish, who can just calmly take the ball down on his chest, level with the edge of the area, rolls it infield to Gvardiol. Stones in support on this near side, the City left. Not much movement around the edge of the penalty area, so they've gone back into midfield via Gundogan to Rodri. Now Rodri finds Gvardiol. Thought about sliding it down the left-hand side of the box for Grealish, but instead he gives it back to Rodri. Now he works it right for De Bruyne. De Bruyne cuts infield, but he's been watched by Damsgaard. Has to go back again, this time to Kyle Walker. Out to Savinho, right wing, running at Keane Lewis Potter now, driving for the byline. Can he get the cross in? No, he can't, but he still kept it in play and rolled it back to Kyle Walker. Walker finds Rodri at the edge of the area. First touch was heavy, but it comes off Damsgaard and behind for another City corner at the north stand end. 2-1.
Yes, got to have concentration as ever now from Brentford, because Man City starting to dominate the ball. First out on that right-hand side with Savinho trying to go on the outside of Lewis Potter, but Yannick does really well. They make a 2v1 situation again. Corner for Man City on their right, take a short corner.
Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Gundogan coming forward for Manchester City, goes for goal, deflected off the head of Collins and over the bar for another corner. It's currently Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. For the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get City to hold on for the win at 12-1 on, Brentford to win 40-1. The draw is priced at 7-1. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18+, begambleaware.org. Double change being readied by Thomas Frank and Brentford. Mads Roersleff and Fabio Carvalho coming on in a moment. So Forest lead at Anfield through Callum Hudson-Odoi. City have a corner, left-hand side. Grealish rolls it back to Gundogan, 30 yards out. tries to play a reverse ball into the box, picked up by Josko Gvardiol, makes space for a shot, finds Grealish, tries to send it across the face of goal, and it's Pinnock who put it behind for another corner. Is that to City? It is indeed another corner to Manchester City.
Again, it's a short corner between Grealish and Kevin De Bruyne, trying to move the Brentford centre-halves around.
And they've done it again, rolling the ball back to Kyle Walker, who goes for goal, and that grazes the top of the net on its way over the bar. Flecken was flying to his right, but didn't get anything on it. It's a goal kick, and here comes the double change for Brentford. Janelt and Ayer are the two players that are making way. So that's a midfielder and a wing-back going off. Roersleff will be an obvious replacement for Ayer in that position. And the addition of Carvalho for Janelt will give Brentford just a bit more attacking intent, Perry Groves. I watched a lot of Fabio Carvalho when he was making his breakthrough in the Championship at Fulham. I thought he was sensational, and I know my opinion is not worth anything, but I think he moved to Liverpool far too soon.
Yeah, but he didn't really get any minutes did he, at Liverpool. He had a decent spell at Hull City as well, didn't he, where he played really well in the
Went
Championship.
to Leipzig as well.
Yep, so it's just fresh legs, because Man City have dominated possession in the second half. Had numerous corners where they're taking the corners. Flecken tried
giving
to
the ball
back.
away of Brentford, and De Bruyne trying to roll it up to the edge of the area, deflected away by Norgard. Goes in field for John Stones in the centre of the Brentford half. Grealish calling for it on this near side of the left. Receives it now. Roersleff getting into the action early as he jockeys Jack Grealish for position. Now Rodri swings it out to the right-hand side, and Savinho to the right-hand corner of the area, finds Gundogan. And now De Bruyne takes over. Gundogan again. Stones making a run down the right-hand side of the box. Not used. Gone into the area. Brentford should be able to clear their lines here. And Burmo not looking for anybody, but just looking for distance. I'm not sure whether he saw anybody on this near side. He just passed it straight out of play.
That's because obviously Brentford are just defending their 18-yard box. They're very narrow. And Schade and Mbeumo have come back, and they're only probably 2 or 3 yards in front of midfield players. They need to keep one up front so then they can get out.
City coming forward again, 2-1 up with Savinho, right-hand corner of the penalty area. 17 minutes to go on Talksport 2. De Bruyne finds Savinho again down the right-hand side of the box, comes in field this time. Remember, last time he went down inside the area and got booked for simulation, so the Brazilian's got to be a little bit careful what he does. Here's Gundogan finding Manuel Akanji, the Swiss moving up towards the edge of the area, gives it back to the returning Ilkay Gundogan. Lovely ball out for De Bruyne, right-hand side. And then Gundogan made real strong run into the area. Comes back to De Bruyne at the edge of the box. His shot is blocked by Damsgaard. And then it's rolled back to Flecken, who can clear right-footed first time. But there's nobody in a Brentford shirt on halfway. Stones has to track back deep into his own half. Under pressure from Schade in the end, guides it back to his keeper. 2-1 City.
Yeah, it's very intricate play on the edge of the 18-yard box. Rodri actually finding himself with a nosebleed in the 18-yard box. Little 1-2 with Kevin De Bruyne. Tries to get his shot away with his left foot. A really good block from
Carvalho.
Norgard.
Dispossesses Gundogan for Brentford. Midway point of the Manchester City half. Got support from Norgard. Tucks it back to Ethan Pinnock. Still just a 1-goal advantage that Manchester City have here. How much ambition do Brentford show in this last quarter of an hour or so? They've made that slightly more attacking change in midfield, bringing on Carvalho for Janelt. Pinnock on halfway for the Bees. Gives it back to Collins, who rolls it back for his keeper.
Just looking at Thomas Frank, he's really upset because when it come into Janelt over on that left-hand side, Carvalho made a really good run, just spun to get in behind. And I think Thomas Frank, as you said there, Dance, wants Brentford maybe to be a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more aggressive, look forward a little bit quicker.
That's the voice of Perry Groves with us on Talksport 2. He'll be part of the Sunday session team tomorrow, as usual on Talksport. The North London derby will be taking up most of Perry's afternoon.
It's like going to the dentist.
I hear that.
No one enjoys.
No one likes the
derbies.
derbies. No,
It's
apart from the neutrals.
Yeah, going to the dentist, and then afterwards, if you win, then it's relief. That's it.
That's from 1:30 tomorrow on Talksport. Whilst on Talksport 2, Portsmouth West Brom is a commentary from the Championship. Oh, what a run from Gvardiol into the area from distance. Rise to the challenge of Pinnock, squares it across. Savinho must make it 3. Great save, Flecken. Brilliant goalkeeping to deny the Brazilian. Manchester City's 3rd goal of the afternoon. It's still 2-1 somehow.
Well, that was a close shave for the Brazilian over on that left-hand side. Savinho just cutting in. he should be scoring. Brilliant save from Flecken. Great little 1-2 from Jack Grealish and Gvardio. Gvardio looks like he was getting his left foot shot away. Just does a little Cruyff turn, picks the right pass out. Savinho should be scoring, but a brilliant save from Flecken.
I'm not going to comment on that. And Burmo finds Norgard, gets it out to Roerslev on the halfway line on this near side. Schade just moving up ahead of him. Now cuts in field Kevin Schade. And Burmo in a little bit of space just outside the area. Finds Roerslev. First time cross from Roerslev just over the head of Schade. Cleared out as far as Norgard. Foot in from De Bruyne. Gets it half clear for Manchester City. But it's one back. Mads Roerslev will roll it back for Van den Berg. Hibs 2, St Johnstone 0 in Scotland. Come on City, say the home fans, knowing that this is a fairly unusual state of affairs, Perry Groves, for the hosts, because they're normally more than one goal in front by this stage.
You know, if Brentford can keep it like this.
As De Bruyne comes away, lovely dummy from Grealish on halfway. Schade's back goal side of De Bruyne now. Works it in field to Grealish, up to the edge of the area. Now De Bruyne again, left-hand corner of the box. Lays it off for the run of Gvardiol, made that brilliant run through the midfield just a moment or so ago, to no avail. Has it again, the Croatian. He has to turn it back to Akanji in the centre of the Brentford half. 13 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Still, Manchester City 2, Brentford 1 as it was at half-time. Savinho, again down the right-hand side for City. Gets into the area. Now rolls outside to the D. Goes left-footed shot, and it's only just wide of Flecken's right-hand post as he flung himself across to his right. That can't have been far away. Again, the Brazilian close to making it 3-1. In the end, it's 2-1, and Huddersfield have made it 4-0 at Bolton. Anthony Evans, that War of the Roses, most definitely going Yorkshire's way this afternoon.
Yeah, just looking at Savinho dance over on that right-hand side. Keeler's put a Lexing cut in on his left foot. He just comes across the 18-yard box. Just can't quite get his left foot around it to bend it in Flecken's top right-hand corner.
Oh, lovely turn from Carvalho, and he was pulled back by John Stones, who's going to get a yellow card for holding on to the shirt of the former Fulham man and Brentford substitute. Free kick to Brentford inside their own half.
Just saying, Dance, if Brentford can keep, we're coming into the last 10 minutes now. See, Man City are 2-1 up. Man City aren't in control of this game. And I just looked at Pep Guardiola, and there'll be a nervousness that goes around, because he goes, when Pep's a bit worried, if you notice him, he goes down on his knees and just looks intently. And when Brentford breaking on this right-hand side for Roerslev, he actually thought that Brentford had a great chance of getting the equaliser. It was just a bad cross from Roerslev, because Brentford are still well in this game.
Morecambe 2, Colchester 3. 10-man Morecambe get a goal back late on through Callum Jones. In the Premier League, it's still 0-0 between Brighton and Ipswich. Liverpool leading at Forest at the moment. Palace 1, Leicester 2. City win the ball back. Haaland going through the centre, going for the 100th goal, but Van den Berg got a vital foot in to keep it away from the Norwegian, and Brentford half clear their lines, but City have it back. Right-hand side with De Bruyne, goes down, no foul. Brentford work it in field 2, and Burma, midway point of his own half. Now the ball's just kicked downfield, asking Schade to give chase. Header up in the air by Akanji, did well, and found John Stones. Stones with the ball over halfway, but Haaland is about 20 yards offside, can't touch it. So in the Premier League, as I mentioned, Palace 1, Leicester 2. Fulham still 1-0 up on West Ham. Forest 1-0 up at Liverpool. Villa Everton 5:30 today. Updates on Talksport, and Bournemouth Chelsea at 8 at the Vitality, live on Talksport as a little bonus commentary for you for your Saturday evening entertainment. Gillingham 2, Tranmere 0. Jaden Clark for the Gills, and Accrington Stanley 0. Crewe 1. Zach Williams for Crewe in League 2, those goals. Here come Manchester City with Kyle Walker. 10 minutes to go. Savinho for Manchester City into the area, lays it back to Rodri at the edge of the box, finds Grealish, ball runs across his body, tucks it through to De Bruyne, tucked back for Haaland, hits the post, gets it again, Haaland, it's blocked on its way to goal by Nathan Collins, and the ball's desperately cleared away. Haaland within a lick of paint of a century of Manchester City goals.
Dan sounds like the pinball wizard there for Erling Haaland. Brilliant play from De Bruyne, and Jack Grealish on this left-hand side comes back to Haaland. gets a brilliant strike with his left foot. We think it's going to nest in the back of the net. Comes ricocheting back off the post. Comes back to Haaland. Gets his other shot in. Brilliant block from Nathan Collins. Haaland looked like he was going to have his hat-trick.
He still might. 9 minutes or so to play, plus added time on Talksport 2. De Bruyne finds Haaland in the area, goes for goal, brilliant save, Flecken. Haaland went for the follow-up, but he couldn't get his foot on it, and it was cleared away into the arms of the goalkeeper. Mark Flecken stays 2-1. Plymouth 2, Sunderland 2. Romain Mundle, what a great start to the season he's had. He's equalised for Sunderland at Home Park in a game with lots of twists and turns in the Championship. Here in the Premier League on Talksport 2, what have Brentford got left in these last 8 minutes or so? Ethan Pinnock finds Fabio Carvalho, tucks it down the left-hand side for Collins. Collins fouled Savinho as he tried to put his foot in, and he's going to get a yellow card here, Nathan Collins. And that gets a few ironic cheers from the City fans around us in the Colin Bell stand. Free kick to the hosts.
Collins went for the ball, but he missed again. End up catching Savinho. Quite rightly, Darren Bond, the referee, gets the yellow card out.
I'm just looking at my producer. Did you hear that? He did it again. He's just unstoppable.
Just enjoying myself.
Pun central. Well, yeah, clearly, yeah, absolutely. Can't deny that. Ball's back with Ederson, the Manchester City keeper. 8 minutes of normal time to go. Still 2-1 to Manchester City. Grealish sees the ball drop out of the sky. Brentford hook it out of play through Sepp Vandenberg for a throw-in. And a couple of decent changes coming on now for Manchester City. Ruben Diaz and Bernardo Silva are being introduced, but so too is Yehor Yarmolyuk, the Ukrainian for Brentford's going to be coming on as well, just getting a few last-minute instructions from Thomas Frank, who has his arm around the shoulder of his number 18. Damsgaard, I think, is the player coming off. Diaz for Stones looks to be the shout, and Bernardo Silva coming on for Jack Grealish. So even though he's started successive games for the first time in a good while, Jack Grealish, he won't complete the 90, but he's put in another solid performance on the back of good performances for his country, Perry Groves.
Yeah, but Dance, he's not happy. I just look at Jack Grealish. He actually turned away. When you look at the board that's come up, you think, I don't want to see my number. He knew it was going to be him because Savinho's come run over to his right-hand side. So Jack Grealish obviously gets the shepherd's crook. Bernardo Silva comes on. It looks like Savinho will come on to the right-hand side. Bernardo
Guardiola having a little chat with Jack Grealish, not letting him walk back to the substitutes bench before he gives him a piece of his mind. Grealish now going back to sit down.
Well, he knew that he wasn't happy with it. You could tell by his body language, the way he looked at him, because he knew, because Savinho ran over to his left-hand side, that Jack Grealish was going to go off. Bernardo Silva's gone on to the right-hand side. And you can understand Jack Grealish's frustration. You want to play, you don't want to ever be dragged off.
So Yarmolyuk is on for Damsgaard as well. Diaz and Bernardo Silva on for Grealish and Stones. We've got 6 minutes of normal time to play. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1 on Talksport 2's Game Day exclusive. Brentford trying to clear the ball from their own defensive third, but they've just given away a throw to Manchester City down by the corner flag on the left-hand side nearest to us, with Manchester City attacking the north stand in this second period. Kept in play, was it by Savinho? No, says the assistant over on the far side, who says that's a Brentford goal kick. So Yarmolyuk is on for Brentford in place of Damsgaard, just 20. It's his first appearance in the Premier League this season. Central midfielder, yet to score, joined from Dnipro a couple of years ago. And it's Roersleff for Brentford, who will bring the ball away up to the right-hand side, up to halfway. Ball's infield to Schade, midway point of the half. Lewis Potter making a run in his outside. Yarmolyuk now gets his first involvement. Space for Roersleff on the near side, the Brentford right, almost level with the edge of the area. Yarmolyuk's gone again on the overlap, but Roersleff has rolled it back to Vandenberg. Infield it goes to Christian Norgard. Back out to Roersleff, again's got space on the wing to send a cross in, goes over the head of everybody in a dark green Brentford shirt, and Walker very calmly chests it back to his goalkeeper. 2-1 City.
Yeah, it's good play from Brentford again, especially Roersleff on this right-hand side. It come up to him, whip the cross in, and Lewis Potter come in from the left-hand side, but it actually made his run too early and run past Cole Walker. In the end, Cole Walker good awareness with his chest, just chest it back to Edison.
Blackpool 1, Exeter 1. Ed Francis equalises for Exeter. Haaland away for Manchester City from another long ball downfield. Can't turn inside Pinnock. This time, Pinnock got his challenge correct and stole the ball off the Norwegian.
That's what a ball that was from Edison. He's got the ball in his hands. He's had the fly kick where he's like volleyed it fully 60, 70 yards straight into Erling Haaland's path. In the end, Ethan Pinnock recovered, just nicked the ball off him. But Edison has to be the best in the world, Dance, at delivering the ball. Whether it's on his feet, whether it's in his hands, whether it's short, whether it's long. He's got like an anvil in his boot.
And it was his ball that set up Haaland for the second goal. The goal that has Manchester City in front, has them heading for another 3 points. Liverpool still losing, by the way, against Nottingham Forest at Anfield. Salford 2-1 up on Cheltenham. Hakeem Adelakun completes the comeback for the Ammies. And Bromley 2, Notts County 4. Jody Jones has a second of the afternoon. Plymouth Argyle back in front against Sunderland. Joe Edwards makes it Plymouth 3, Sunderland 2. Stevenage 3, Barnsley 0, Elliott List. And we're moving towards the last 3 minutes of normal time here at the Etihad. Manchester City 2-1 up and in possession with Ilkay Gundogan. Just gets nudged in the back by Collins. Free kick inside the Brentford half, about 20 yards inside it.
Dan's come up to the 87th minute. It's whether Brentford can lift themselves to go and create that chance to get the equaliser, whether they have that belief, whether it's within where they've got it in their legs, because obviously they've done a lot of running in the second half where Man City had dominated the ball.
Well, it was a poor free kick from City, but Yarmolyuk couldn't profit from it, and Gvardiol won it back with good strength just by the centre circle. He's gone again for a through ball from De Bruyne, just couldn't sort his feet out, the Croatian fullback. Great run, and it was a very intelligent pass from De Bruyne that almost found him, but it just rolled through to Flecken, 2-1.
That was the eye and needle dance from Kevin De Bruyne, just in this left half position. It said Gvardiol's made the run on the inverted left back position and gone into the 18-yard box.
Lovely dummy by Keane Lewis Potter to allow Carvalho to get away just for a moment down the left-hand side. He's fouled. Free kick to Brentford, 20 yards inside the Man City half, tight to that far touchline. Celtic 2-0 up on Hearts in Scotland. Gillingham 3-0 up on Tranmere in League 2. Charlton have beaten Shrewsbury. Walsall 2-1 up late on in League 2 against Bradford. Daniel Johnson back for a second spell at the Pound End. Looks to have won it for the Saddlers. Meantime, free kick for Brentford. Not quite the midway point of the Man City half, and it's tight to the far left-hand touchline. And Burmo is standing over it, as is Carvalho. One of those two will strike it. City holding their line at the edge of the D. And it comes from Mbeumo, left-footed. Dangerous in the near post. Norgard trying to get a piece of it. It's blocked behind for a goal kick in the end. It was an attempt by Norgard to get onto the loose ball, but his chest control let him down, and it's a goal kick to City, 2-1.
Yeah, just a little bit of nervousness from the Man City faithful, the ones who've stayed here at the Etihad. Brilliant ball in from Mbeumo, just whipping it in with his left foot. Said Norgard getting in front of his marker. In the end, it was a combination of Diaz and Gundogan, and manages to ease him off the ball. Goes out for a goal kick.
Crystal Palace 2, Leicester 2. They've come back from 2 down. Jean-Philippe Mateta making it 2-2 with a penalty in stoppage time at Selhurst Park. Still in normal time here at the Etihad Stadium, but only about 40 seconds left of the 90. Manchester City 2-1 up, and it's with Rodri. Looks for Bernardo Silva, his first involvement in the game really since coming on as a substitute. Toe pokes the ball back to Walker just over the halfway line. Walker will find Silva again.
You have to say in this second half,
the ball up, throw into Brentford.
In the second half, Man City have had more control of the game because Rodri's obviously come on, but they're still a little bit clunky. They're not at their free-flying best.
Well, Brentford are only going to have, we believe, 2 additional minutes at the end of the 90 to launch any further attacks to try and get themselves level. And the 90 minutes is now up, and up goes that 2-minute board. It's not a lot of time. There have been substitutions, but Darren Bond elects that 2 minutes is enough. So we're into that now on Talksport 2. Ball brought forward by Nathan Collins. Rides the challenge of Haaland. Good strength from Nathan Collins. Hits a diagonal ball looking for Kevin Schade. Brings the ball down right-hand corner of the penalty area. Support from Roerslev. Pulls it back from the byline. Too deep for Lewis Potter, who is coming in from the left flank. and there's no height in that Brentford forward line, so there was nobody there to apply a headed finish, and Manchester City can clear to the giant Haaland. Now, chance for Savinho in the centre circle, well dispossessed by Schade coming back and doing his duty. Here come Brentford again. We're going to slide it into Mbermo, right-hand side of the box, faced up by Akanji. Lays it off to the edge of the area. The drive from Yarmolyuk is a good 2 yards wide, and it's a goal kick to Manchester City, and that may be that, 2-1.
Dance, you can feel the nervousness in the Etihad Stadium. Brentford just pushing and pressing for the equaliser. Come to Mbermo on the right-hand side of the box, just cuts inside to Yarmolyuk. Yarmolyuk just trying to whip it with his right foot across Ederson, doesn't quite get enough purchase on the ball, just rolls agonisingly close, and before that they had a brilliant chance on the right hand side where a good link up play with Schade and Roersleff couldn't quite pick the right cross.
Haaland is getting the man of the match, as you might not be too surprised to learn. Matheus Nunes about to come on as a late change, I think, for Savinho. Meantime, Sheffield Wednesday look to have won it late on against QPR. Barry Bannon and Danny Ings has equalised late on, so it's Fulham 1, West Ham 1. Very, very late goal, and that is a full-time score now at Craven Cottage. So West Ham peg Fulham back in the 95th minute with that goal from Danny Ings for a share of the spoils. And the change is being made, and it's Savinho just holding his right hamstring as he comes off. Nunez comes on to replace him. They'll only get a few seconds out there because we've played the minimum 2 minutes of added time. It's now up to referee Darren Bond as to how much more we add on. Haaland showing great strength on this near side, just hooks the ball over his head, looking for the run of Nunez, but it's back to the Brentford keeper. Flecken hits it long downfield. Schade goes up for a header, gets the better of it from Akanji, drops for Yarmolyuk. Maybe one last chance for Brentford. 2-1 down. Schade, right hand side, goes down under pressure, no free kick, and Nunez brings it clear for the hosts, but then he turned into a bit of trouble, but then bailed out by Gundogan. Now Gvardiol bursting through the midfield, out to the left wing, and De Bruyne. Haaland is waiting in the box, but De Bruyne taking it to the corner flag, saying no, what we have we hold, we don't need to do any more. And the ball goes out of play for a throw to City. Blackpool have beaten Exeter with a 94th minute winner from James Husband, and Nottingham Forest have won at Anfield for the first time in over half a century. Callum Hudson-Odoi with the winning goal. So whilst they're dropping points, Liverpool, City are keeping their 100% record.
Dance and Kevin De Bruyne run the ball to the corner flag, got a standing ovation. That's how nervous they got in this last 10 minutes.
The full-time whistle goes, and Manchester City have the points, not by the 2-goal plus margin that they normally expect these days. Brentford make them work so hard to get the 3 points this afternoon. The Bees were ahead inside 30 seconds, if you please, right at the start of the game, where Stones and Ederson got in a mix-up and Johan Visser nodded the ball into an empty net. But Erling Haaland has now moved on to 99 Manchester City goals in 103 appearances. Both his goals here today came before half-time. No hat-trick today, but he has now scored 9 goals at the start of a Premier League season in the first 4 games, which beats Wayne Rooney's previous record in the 2011-12 season of 8 goals in his first 4 appearances of the season. And his goals around the 20-minute mark and the half-hour mark sealed the points in the end. Brentford tried their hardest. Visser, the goal scorer, went off injured. Not another long-term injury for Thomas Frank. He could do without that. But the points are safe for the blue half of Manchester, and they'll be delighted to hear the scoreline from Anfield at the same time, even at this early stage of the season. Full time at the Etihad. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1.
Felt like a performance where Manchester City eked back control from Brentford Perry Groves, but as you said at the end, running the ball into the corner, trying to eat up those precious seconds and clinging on for a couple of chances that Brentford had late on. Pep Guardiola will not be completely satisfied with what he's seen there.
No, we can hear Wonderwall, can't we, by Oasis, but this was definitely maybe, because there was jeopardy in this game, definitely in the second half, and it was maybe Brentford might have got an equaliser. They couldn't quite get the quality in the wide areas where they had their chances. In the end, Man City deserved their win, but it was nowhere near like a Rolls-Royce performance from Man City, because they were a bit clunky in the first half. Brentford were very, very good in the first half. Obviously took the lead through Vissa after 20 seconds because there was no concentration there from Man City. Pep Guardiola very rarely makes changes at half-time. He made his 2 changes. One of them was Rodri, and he knew that he had to put Rodri on to control the game. And they did. They controlled the game in the second half. They got more possession. Erling Haaland had a couple of great chances. Hit the post with the left foot, and a brilliant save from Flecken, again with left-footed effort from Erling Haaland. So Man City had the better chance in the second half. But Brentford were always in this game. There was always jeopardy in this game. It was a brilliant game to watch.
Yeah, we always say it's championship form if you can win when you're not at your best. This is the importance of winning idle from Manchester City, if we're stretching out those Oasis analogies. Mentioning that midfield, Rodri coming on at half-time and Gundogan playing the full 90, almost with a double pivot. They just didn't give the ball away, those two.
Exactly, and you've got Kevin De Bruyne in there as well. So in the first half, it was Kovacic who was the one who showed the discipline. The second half, it was Rodri. Kovacic is a very, very good player, but Rodri is another level up, and they needed to put him on to control the game. Said there, the other players have then got the freedom to make their movements in inside, left, info, right positions, whether it's Gundogan, whether it's De Bruyne. Obviously, Savinho was very lively on the right-hand side, but again, Brentford did really well. They doubled up on him through Lewis Potter and Janelt. So I think when you hear the manager's interviews, I'm always interested in how they see the game. And I think Thomas Frank will be absolutely delighted with the way that his team played. I think he'll be very proud of them. But I think there might be a bit of frustration there, because I think that he'll feel that they could have actually equalised this game. Exactly.
When they were 1-0 up, they had chances. They could have doubled their lead.
They had a 5-3 situation, especially on the right-hand side. It come to Aya a couple of times and Vissa, where if they rip the ball across the 18-yard box, Lewis Potter's unmarked on the left-hand side. And Brentford were very good in possession as well, playing out of the back in the first half with Flecken going into midfield. Brentford's midfield 3 in the first half, Damsgaard, Norgard and Janelt were very, very good, getting the ball under pressure. When Vissa went off, I think that negated the threat in behind. That's what they had in the first half, so Man City were a little bit more confident. So I say it was a clunky performance, and we mentioned that when Man City attacked down this left-hand side, Kevin De Bruyne run into the left-hand corner, and he got a standing ovation from everybody in the Etihad. That never happens at the Etihad. They're normally
home and host,
very comfortable. So it was a real good game to watch. It was whether Brentford could craft that chance in the last sort of 5 minutes. They had a good opportunity with Schade and Roersleff on this right-hand side, where Roersleff put his cross in and Lewis Potter come in a little bit too early. But it was a very, very interesting game to watch.
Brentford had been weakened in attack with the fact that Johan Wissa went off right at the end of the first half. Nasty looking ankle injury, immediately going off, not saying I'll wait and see how I am at half-time, straight off. So I think Brentford will sweat on that one. He's so important for them. We haven't yet mentioned the match winner, Erling Haaland.
The ringer.
The ringer, as you called him. I asked you before the game, is he playing at a level above the Premier League standard? Have we ever seen a striker like this? And he scored 2 very different goals today, and he very nearly had the hat-trick of hat-tricks.
Yeah, he hit the post in the second half with his left foot, and then it was brilliant save from Flecken low down to his left-hand side. First half, you said, first goal was pure instinct, where the ball rolls, he gets a ricochet off of, I think it was Norgard, and then he just swivels in one movement with his right foot. Pinnock doesn't get close enough, gives Flecken no chance. Second half, it's a brilliant pass from Ederson right down the centre of the pitch. Haaland out-muscles Ethan Pinnock. Ethan Pinnock, by the way, is 6'4", so he should never be out-muscled. And again, that was like a under-15 playing against an under-10. Right?
He got to grips with him in the second half.
Too late. Miles too late, because you've lost concentration twice, he scored twice, dinked it over Flecken, brilliant finish. And I love watching him play, actually, because when Man City are building up and it was a bit clunky, Erling Haaland's, when they get into the final third, he's not interested. When some centre forwards come short, they spin, they get in, he just jogs along the 18-yard box, just waiting for maybe a little slide pass, and when it goes wide, then he just drifts to the far post. So he's just a centre forward, quite rightly. He's now averaging over a goal a game in the Premier League, which is
incredible.
Is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's teed us up quite nicely as well for our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Well, Perry, I've mentioned how impressed I was with Ilkay Gundogan in the midfield. Kevin De Bruyne kept setting up great chances for Manchester City, but I imagine I know which way you're going to lean for the man of the match.
Yeah, when he got his hat-trick, I didn't give him man of the match when he was here last time against Ipswich. But this time, Savinho was very good on the right-hand side, but he dived to quite rightly get a booking from the referee, Darren Bond, which was brilliant. And there's no other player that you can give it to. And I know it's route one, like Man City's second goal, Edison straight down the middle of the pitch. Because Erling Haaland actually gets Man City out of trouble. He got them out of trouble today because they weren't playing great, but the belief in the Man City players, Rodri comes on, they control it. But even when they're not playing well, the Man City players know that they've got someone up front. If you give him half a chance, he's going to get you a goal. And that belief then goes through the whole team, even if you're not playing very well. And that wasn't a good performance from Man City today.
There's one thing I noticed when Kevin De Bruyne took the ball to the corner, Haaland was just a bit miffed.
Yeah, he wants to get it into the box.
Get it in the box. Give me a chance for my hat-trick. It's not to be.
But he's man of the match.
Yeah, that was our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.